Begin with the headlines. Ukraine drone attack hits more than 40 Russian bomber planes, claims Ukrainian security service.
दीदी मेरी बात सुन लो, आपका समय अब समाप्त हो गया है। 26 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली।
Union Minister Amit Shah leads BJP's election battle in Bengal, says BJP will come to power with massive mandate in the state in 2026.
मुर्शिदाबाद में अभी हिंसा हुई, बंगाल सरकार के मंत्री इस दंगों में शामिल थे। ये स्टेट स्पॉन्सर दंगा था जिन्होंने हिंदुओं को अन्याय किया है।
This blistering attack on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Shah says Hindus targeted in Bengal, whereas Mamata is involved in vote bank politics. Inside scoop access on DMK's resolution, the party calls Udayanithi the future hope of Tamil Nadu. In a major crackdown on Pakistan's ISI-backed terror networks, the Amritsar Commissioner of Police have successfully dismantled a terror and extortion module linked to the proscribed outfit Babbar Khalsa International. All right, let's begin with that huge breaking coming in from the Europe theatre of war between Ukraine and Russia. In fact, Ukraine has claimed that its drone attack has hit more than 40 Russian bomber planes and completely destroyed those at least two locations, Irkutsk and Olenia air bases, very far apart. Let's try to understand what's really happening. These are claims made by Kiev about this major blow to Russian air power. And if you look at these pictures, which are doing the rounds on various media platforms, including the BBC, one wonders if a major part of Russian Air Force has been taken down. This is a major attack. Of course, Ukraine also claims that Russia has hit back in a counter-offensive with about 400 drones targeting various Ukrainian military targets. All right, let's go to Kratarth. He's joining us live for with more updates on what's really happening. Kratarth, we were just discussing whether there's going to be a ceasefire in Europe, but now it seems it's escalation. What are the latest you can share about this round of attacks that are being claimed by both the sides?
Abhishek, this is one of the initial hours of what is believed to be one of the most audacious attacks carried out by the Ukrainian forces if it comes to true. The fog of war is very much intact. However, even Western press agencies now are scrambling to find confirmation as social media is flooded with reports that there are two strategic air bases of Russia which are deep inside Russian territory, some even 2,000 miles deep inside Russian territory, which is the Bolenia air base and the Olenia air base, which has been now targeted by Ukrainian drone swarms. Around 40 Tu-95 and Tu-55 bombers, the strategic bombers or the strategic bomb fleet, the Tu-95 and the Tu-22, beg your pardon, strategic bombers have been destroyed is the claim that is now being made by Kiev. These are unconfirmed reports. However, international agencies are reporting that SBU, which is the domestic intelligence agency of Russia, is now Ukraine, beg your pardon, is confirming that as much as 40 strategic tactical bombers of Russia are destroyed in this direct strike that has hit various air bases in Russia. Two of them are very, very deep inside Russian territory. In fact, the reports that are coming in is these are strategic bombers that were equipped by Russia, which were used for deep penetration strikes in the Ukrainian territory. And these are also strategic bombers capable of even dropping the nuclear bomb. So this is a very significant escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict in the last 3 years that we have seen. For the first time ever, Ukraine had limited the attacks on Russian territory just to the Kursk province. Earlier this month, we had also had some reports that Russia has made tremendous gains back in the Kursk province, which was the first official position in which the Ukrainians had attacked Russian territory. But big report coming in, more than 40 bombers expected to be neutralized.
Right. You know, these are times of information warfare, so we have to really wait and watch. But these are claims and counterclaims of deep strikes by the respective sides, taking down the military war machine. And these pictures coming in from various sources, including BBC, which is claiming that as many as 40 bombers of Russia have been taken down, though of course in the pictures we can see just 4. Moving on for now to our biggest scoop coming in from Tamil Nadu, where there was a meeting of a convention of party leaders that took place of the DMK, and where 3 resolutions have been passed. One is of course about in which Chief Minister M.K. Stalin announced that June 3 will be celebrated as Classical Languages Day, and this is to honor M. Karunanidhi, his father, and of course late M. Karunanidhi. And then of course in so doing, M.K. Stalin also announced that Udayanidhi is going to be the future of the DMK. Some would say that this is of course along expected lines, but then this is perhaps first formal announcement of the same. Let's cut to Sharda. She's joining us live from Chennai to understand what's happening. Sharda? All right, let's first listen to what M.K. Stalin has said, then we go for our reporter live.
ஒட்டுமொத்தமா தமிழ்நாட்டையும் பாஜக கண்ட்ரோலுக்கு கொண்டு போகத்தான் பழனிசாமி துடிக்கிறார். அதனால தான் அமித்ஷா இங்க அடிக்கடி வர்றாரு. நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்னதுதான், மீண்டும் உறுதியோடு சொல்றேன், எந்த ஷா வந்தாலும் தமிழ்நாட்டை ஆள முடியாது. டெல்லிக்கு தமிழ்நாடு எப்பவுமே அவுட் ஆஃப் கண்ட்ரோல் தான். இதை மக்கள் கிட்ட நாம எடுத்துக்கிட்டு போகணும். பாஜக கூட்டணி ஆட்சி வந்தா தமிழ்நாட்டை என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு சொல்லணும். மத கலவரங்களை உண்டு பண்ணுவாங்க, சாதி கலவரங்களை தூண்டுவாங்க, மக்களை எல்லா வகையிலும் பிளவுபடுத்துவாங்க, நம்ம பசங்களை படிக்க விட மாட்டாங்க.
Alright, Sharda Natarajan joins us live from Chennai. Sharda, did he say that Udayanidhi is the future of Tamil Nadu and that he's going to pass on the baton to him?
As Abhishek, so DMK has finally started their campaign today in Madurai. With the elections coming up in 2026, all the parties are now announcing the new manifestos, starting their campaigns and all that. Speaking today, especially in Madurai, to the party cadres, M.K. Stalin has promised that the future of the DMK lies on the shoulder of Udayanidhi Stalin. When it comes to Tamil Nadu, it's not new that entertainment and politics go hand in hand, because when we see in the past, the late leaders J. Jayalalitha and M. Karunanidhi were from the movie industry. Whilst M.K. Stalin has skipped that part, Udayanidhi has a past where he had been an actor, run a production company, produced multiple films under the banner called Red Giant. Now, making him the face of DMK gives them a strong hold, making sure that the DMK has a future face, because according to the people of Tamil Nadu, ADMK is been lacking the face of a senior leader after the passing of J. Jayalalitha, because there are differences in factions and there is a split in the party with TTV Dinakaran and Sashikala on one side, O. Pannirselvam on one side, and Edappadi Palaniswamy on one side. However, DMK, they continue to take on the family politics name and continue with it. And now Kamal Haasan being a part of DMK's alliance and becoming the Rajya Sabha MP gives them a wide array of options. And now announcing Udayanidhi stepping into it, it's a strong pull for DMK.
Sharda, does that mean that there could be a transfer of power, so to say, just before elections, that Udayanidhi could be made chief minister heading into elections, or that he could be the face of the chief ministerial face of the party?
Well, Abhishek, as per the sources in the party, it is said that M.K. Stalin would still continue to be the chief minister and would be the face of Tamil Nadu in the upcoming elections for 2026. However, following the first year of his power as a chief minister, he would be passing on the power to Udayanidhi Stalin, because we all know he's already the deputy chief minister. So making sure that announcing him right now is just paving the way for 2027 and the years after that.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, Sharda, with that scoop coming in from Chennai from her. And we have to understand the implications or political implications of this development in Tamil Nadu. Narayana Tirupati, he is Vice President of the Tamil Nadu BJP, and Pulla Rao, political analyst, generally leans towards the DMK. So I want to begin with you, Mr. Rao. This is, some would say, along expected lines. But the kind of clarity with which MK Stalin has spoken, do you see that this transfer of power could happen very soon, like possibly before elections?
Not at all. I think he just said is the future. And I don't think there'll be any changing of horses before the elections. The elections in 2026 will go on with Stalin as the leader. And you remember that his father, Karnanidhi, was in control of things well into his 90s. There is no, so therefore Stalin has got a long time ahead. He just said he's the
then
future.
Why make this announcement? Is it to quell trouble from Kanimodi or Dayanidhi Maran or some other factions within the party? Are there factions in the party?
Not at all. Stalin, as far as I see, is a very accommodating man. After 11 years, he went and saw his elder brother yesterday at dinner with him. He's an accommodating man.
I think, Pularao, I think I should take this question to Narayana Tirupati. Whether there is trouble in paradise insofar as DMK is concerned, why make this announcement at this juncture? Is it because what's happening in Telangana between K. Kavita and KTR, so MK Stalin did not really want those winds to be coming in south, and that's why he has made this announcement, Mr. Tirupati?
Yeah, see, actually, the thing is that there are two things. Number one, it is not a future for Tamil Nadu. The future of Tamil Nadu will be very black, dark. If Mr. Stalin says that Udayanithi Stalin is the future, then Tamil Nadu's future is very black. Because in Udayanithi Stalin, we see a irresponsible and also a communal person who abuses the Hindu religion and is an immature politician. So 100% Mr. Udayanithi Stalin cannot make a leader. And of course, as you rightly said, naturally, the natural choice of DMK's leadership will be Ms. Kanimodi, who is also the daughter of Mr. late Karunanidhi. She is also into active politics. Of course, I don't want to comment more on the DMK internal politics, but if it is dynasty politics, definitely it will be Kanimodi only. So, Udayanidhi will not be accepted even by the cadres of DMK and also the other leaders, second-rank leaders, because he is a very immature personality and also a responsible person.
All right, I think we would leave it there because this is still a developing story. Remember, this is a resolution passed. There were resolutions passed in this convention of workers of the DMK where this announcement was made, and Sharda, our correspondent in Chennai, scooped it. You heard both the sides on where things stand, but clearly building up to that contest in 2026 where the DMK would be defending its turf for the third time, and perhaps that's why MK Stalin really beefing up with the BJP, aligning with the AIA-DMK and those political forces, really giving some headwinds for the ruling party in Chennai. Thank you so much, Pulla Rao and Mr. Natarajan, for joining us. Moving on, in a significant breakthrough, the Amritsar Commissionerate of Police have successfully dismantled a terror module linked to the banned outfit Babbar Khalsa International. Operation led to the arrest of two key operatives, Karajpreet Singh and Gurlal Singh, who were allegedly involved in an extortion racket orchestrated by the BKI operative Jeevan Fauji. The arrests underscore the ongoing efforts of law enforcement agencies to combat cross-border terrorism and maintain peace in the region. These are pictures from Amritsar, and these show the place from where those recoveries have been made by the police, and those two operatives also arrested. For more on this, let's go to Lalit Sharma. He's our correspondent in Chandigarh. Okay, we are connecting with Lalit just in a bit. This is an important development insofar as tackling terrorism and cross-border terrorism particularly is concerned, because remember, Babbar Khalsa International is a proscribed terror organization insofar as India is concerned, and it effectively operates out of Pakistan. Its activities are coordinated by the ISI, and of course, it also is very active in some of those Western capitals, particularly in Europe. And those operatives also very well connected with the Pakistani deep state. Babbar Khalsa International, in fact, is accused of carrying out drug-related and other terror crimes, including targeting of public places, including targeting of state symbols like police stations. I think we are not able to connect live with Lalit on this development, and so we move on to the next one, and it's coming in from Afghanistan, where clashes have broken out again between Afghan and Pakistani troops, essentially the Taliban and the Pakistani army, along the Durand line in Helmand province. In fact, in the Bahramcha district of Helmand, which is bordering Pakistan. And remember, Durand line is not recognized by the Taliban. They believe that there is a greater Pakhtun state which transcends the Durand line into Pakistan, and that Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is part of that Pashtun state. These are pictures coming in. As of now, no casualties reported, but this is clearly a case of a clash happening between the Afghan and the Pakistani forces. This really calls the bluff of Pakistan when it says that its only threat and military engagement happens to its east with India. And there, in fact, is an altercation, a video of an altercation that has taken place between the Pakistani soldiers, troops, and the Afghans on the border before this clash happened, where exchange of firing and some bombing has happened. Let's listen to the all right, I think we don't have that audio yet, but this is a very important development coming in from Afghanistan. We keep a close track of those developments, and of course, a short break on the other side. Get me right with me, Abhishek Kapoor. This week on Get Me Right, the story behind Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. How Pakistan gamed international law and broke all rules to become a nuclear state. How the dirty bomb came out of the smuggling network that scientist A.Q. Khan set up with full connivance of the Pakistani state. Join me this weekend for the story of the world's first Islamic atom bomb. This weekend, only on Republic TV.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं. विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का.
MDH की देगी मिर्च.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front line. Accuracy, urgency, courage, and responsibility. At Public School of Journalism, you will be trained for all that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning inside a working newsroom from day first. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency, and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It is not theory. It is live learning from inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism is where you begin.
India is finally on the brink of launching its first ever high-speed rail project, the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train, a symbol of progress reserved for countries like Japan, France or China. And this isn't just a story about speed, it's about ambition, global partnerships and a powerful transformation in how India moves. Right now, as we speak, something extraordinary is happening in Japan. Two Shinkansen trains, the cutting-edge E5 and E3 series, are undergoing intensive trials specifically designed for Indian conditions. These aren't ordinary test runs. Japanese engineers are pushing these machines through scenarios that replicate India's scorching heat, dust storms, and challenging terrain. Each test, each data point collected brings us closer to the moment when these technological marvels will race across Indian soil. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor, stretching across 508 kilometers of Indian terrain, represents more than just faster trains. When completed, this engineering marvel will slash travel time between India's financial capital Mumbai and Gujarat's commercial hub Ahmedabad for over 6 grueling hours to a swift 2 hours, fundamentally reimagining connectivity between the two of our most economically vital Indian cities. The scale of this transformation becomes evident when you consider the technical specifications. These aren't ordinary trains we are talking about. The bullet trains will traverse 348 kilometers through Gujarat and 156 kilometers through Maharashtra, with 63% of the route elevated on embankments, 28% on stilts, and sections running underground and over bridges. This isn't just about speed, it's about precision, engineering that accounts for India's unique geographical and climatic challenges. The Surat-Bilimora section, a 48-kilometer stretch in Gujarat, has been chosen as the testing ground where India's bullet train dreams will first become tangible reality. By August 2026, trial runs are scheduled to begin on this route, marking the first time a Shinkansen will operate on Indian tracks. The foundation for this moment was laid through the 2016 Indo-Japanese agreement, formalized when Prime Minister Modi met with the then Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. This wasn't just a diplomatic handshake, but a strategic partnership that brought Japanese bullet train technology to Indian soil while ensuring that 80% of the project's financing comes through low-interest yen loans, making this massive undertaking economically viable for India. What's fascinating is how this project aligns perfectly with India's Make in India initiative. BEML is directly working on producing train sets capable of 280 kilometers per hour domestically, and by the early 2030s, India plans to introduce even more advanced E-10 series Shinkansen capable of reaching speeds up to 400 kilometers per hour. This progression from technology import to domestic manufacturing represents the kind of strategic thinking that transforms nations. When business leaders can commute between Mumbai and Ahmedabad in 2 hours instead of 6, it does not just save time, it creates new possibilities for collaboration, investment and growth. Currently, India operates semi-high-speed trains like the Vande Bharat, which reaches speeds up to 180 kilometers per hour. The jump to 320 kilometers per hour represents a quantum leap that places India in the same league as countries with the world's most advanced rail networks. This isn't just about catching up, it's about positioning India as a global leader in modern transportation infrastructure. The timeline ahead is both ambitious and achievable. Trial runs are scheduled to begin by August 2026, with the gifted Shinkansen trains serving as the proving ground for technology that will soon become routine across Indian railways. Indian engineers are being trained alongside this process, ensuring that we are not just importing machines, but building expertise that will sustain and expand this revolution.
This week on Get Me Right, the story behind Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. How Pakistan gamed international law and broke all rules to become a nuclear state. How the dirty bomb came out of the smuggling network that scientist A.Q. Khan set up with full connivance of the Pakistani state. Join me this weekend for the story of the world's first Islamic atom bomb. This weekend, only on Republic TV.
The Teesta River's water level rose significantly on Sunday due to heavy and continuous downpour in Sikkim. The India Meteorological Department issued a red alert for today in the state's Mangan district for heavy to very heavy rain in the region. The Met Department also issued an orange alert for Sikkim's Gyalsing, Namchi, Soreng, Gangtok and Payong district for the next 24 hours. According to the district administration, many properties have been damaged due to landslide.
जो टूरिस्ट उस एक्सीडेंट में मुंशीथंग छोबम्बू में मिसिंग हुआ था, मिसिंग नहीं जो एक्सीडेंट में नदी में गिरा था, तो उसमें से 2 को तो जिंदा निकाला 29 के रात को ही रेस्क्यू टीम ने. बाकी जो 9 आदमी है उसमें से इंक्लूडिंग ड्राइवर जो सिक्किम का था, तो कल दिन भर हम लोगों ने रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया था. एसडीआरएफ, एनडीआरएफ और ये आईटीबीपी सारे लोगों ने कोशिश किया, लेकिन नदी के अंदर जो गाड़ी चली गई थी तो वो गाड़ी निकल नहीं पाया. गाड़ी नज़र भी नहीं आ रहा है, एक छोटा सा उसका पोर्शन नज़र आ रहा है. उसको खींचने के, हिलाने की बहुत कोशिश की, लेकिन डेब्रिस की जो सैंड और जो डेब्रिस होता है उससे दब करके वो निकल नहीं रहा है.
In North Sikkim, landslides were reported in the Thieng and Chunthong areas, causing damage to multiple properties. The IMD has strongly advised citizens to avoid unnecessary travel, remain indoors, and stay away from riverbanks and vulnerable slopes.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का.
MDH की देगी मीरज.
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते.
सर फैंस हैं, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना.
नए वाले नहीं करते. And they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
सिली में आए तो और
Cricket fans.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध. MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front line. Accuracy, urgency, courage, and responsibility. At Public School of Journalism, you will be trained for all that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning. Inside a working newsroom from day first. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
We don't just get you the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSJ Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here. Hi there, welcome back to your favorite deep dive show on stories contemporary and consequential for India. Coming out of the shadow of Operation Sindoor that saw proper pummeling at the hands of India's armed forces, Pakistan still marked the anniversary of its nuclear tests this week on May 28. There was clear nuclear signaling during the military standoff with the Pakistani Defense Minister, some of its parliamentarians, and their ambassador to Moscow hissing of the possibility of a nuclear escalation. It is likely that Pakistan used it as a bargaining chip with the Americans for negotiations. Again, it is not the first time that Pakistan has used its rogue bomb to blackmail the international community. Every time there's been a hot military situation with India, from the Kargil war to the Balakot airstrikes, Pakistan has sought to use its nuclear umbrella as a tool to attain its geopolitical objectives. Realizing early on that it won't be ever able to stand against India's conventional superiority, Pakistan worked on getting an atom bomb, even if it had to beg, borrow, steal, thieve, smuggle, executing a corrupt operation spread over decades. The story of Pakistan's atom bomb is also a story of theft and robbery, cheating and chicanery. There was no merit. There was no talent pool. There was no integrity. Pakistan hoodwinked the Committee of Nations in getting its bomb. This is the second aspect on which Pakistan has become the migraine of the world. The first, of course, being its indulgence with radical Islamism and extremism-born terrorism as a state policy. This edition, let us take a hard look at how Pakistan got its bomb, the Muslim bomb, which is now a tool of blackmail in its hands. Pakistan came out with its bomb, atom bomb, through these tests in the Chagai Hills of Balochistan on May 28, 1998. In doing so, Pakistan was only responding to India's Shakti tests a fortnight earlier, carried out by the Vajpayee government. While for India, those were validation tests, India's nuclear capacity having come out in 1974 itself with the Buddha tests. For Pakistan, Chagai was the first. Of course, Pakistan did not make its bomb in a fortnight. The Chagai tests were only the culmination of a 3-decade-long pursuit based on a global network of theft and espionage, smuggling and corruption, begging and borrowing, just so that Pakistan could get an equalizer with an upwardly mobile neighbor, India.
Today, at 15:45 hours, India conducted 3 underground nuclear tests in the Pokhran range. These tests conducted today were with a fission device, a low-yield device, and a thermonuclear device.
An equalizer based on which Pakistan thought that it would deter India from launching any offensive strikes, even as it unleashed its low-intensity war of terror in Kashmir. Operation Sindoor and the heavy costs inflicted have proven that the nuclear overhang was just a fool's fancy for Pakistan. Even before, the Balakot air strikes and the Uri surgical strikes have shown India's capability to carve out a tactical space to launch offensives deep inside Pakistani territory without succumbing to the nuclear blackmail.
Have we achieved our objective of decimating that terrorist camp? And the answer is a thumping yes. And the results are for the whole world to see. All our pilots are back home.
Let's look at the story of how this nuclear blackmail came about. This man, A.Q. Khan or Abdul Qadir Khan, also known as the father of the Pakistani bomb, was just the face of that Pakistani effort which cheated nations, bypassed international law, blackmailed the Americans, collaborated with rogue regimes, dealt with the grey markets to create the Pakistani bomb. Khan, of course, was turned into a scapegoat too once his utility was over. From Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who pulled out Khan from a European nuclear research lab, to General Pervez Musharraf, who ordered his banishment, Khan was used by the system, both the civilian and the military governments, and thrown out once the network of theft and proliferation stood exposed. But even from before Khan, Pakistan had been trying to ape India's nuclear program. Their leader Bhutto famously said as far back as 1965 that his nation would eat grass if needed, but would compete with India on nuclear bomb and everything else. In January 1972, barely a month after the defeat at the hands of India in the Bangladesh Liberation War, Bhutto, now the Prime Minister of Pakistan, organized a conference of all Muslim nations in Islamabad. He followed it up with a whirlwind tour of key Islamic countries: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey, Syria, Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, and finally Libya, selling the idea of a Muslim bomb. The Christians had the bomb in the USA, UK, France. Communists had in Russia and China. The Jews had the bomb in Israel. In 1974, Buddha smiled in the desert of Rajasthan, and the Hindus too now had the bomb.
It would indicate that we have already succumbed to the threat. This would be disastrous for our national determination to maintain the fullness of our independence. Let me make it clear that we are determined not to be intimidated by this threat. I give a solemn pledge to all my countrymen that we will never let Pakistan be a victim of nuclear blackmail. This means not only that we will never surrender our rights or claims because of India's nuclear status.
Bhutto desperately wanted an Islamic bomb at any cost. But such was the state of affairs in Pakistan that Bhutto came to know of India's Pokhran tests through a BBC broadcast. A livid Bhutto summoned Pakistan's then chief of the nuclear setup, Munir Ahmad Khan, who was at that time giving a lecture on use of nuclear technology for better tomato and onion crops at the Peshawar University. Trained in the West with 13 years at the IAEA in the Nuclear Power and Reactor Division, Munir had many friends and contacts across Europe. Still, with limited talent pool around him and even more limited technological base from which Pakistan worked at that time, Munir was not able to move much as head of the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. Impatient Bhutto wanted a bomb by hook or by crook. And that's when entered the crook, A.Q. Khan. Born in Bhopal, this Surma Bhopali was living in Denmark with his European wife and 2 children when India conducted its first nuclear tests in 1974. Having acquired 3 engineering degrees, 1 each in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands, Khan was working at the Almelo plant of a nuclear materials company involved in uranium enrichment. Ambitious Khan saw an opportunity in India's nuclear tests and wrote directly to Bhutto, offering his services and was duly summoned to Islamabad. To test his claims, Khan was first tasked with fast-tracking a rudimentary Pakistani bomb program by filling the gaps in the know-how of Munir's team. The crook in Khan proved up to the task. He had already gained crucial tech understanding about centrifuges-based uranium enrichment at Urenco. He fixed a photocopy machine at his brother's home and gathered a mine of classified information that would be shipped back home to Pakistan. On its own, this knowledge would have taken a decade or more for Pakistan to master. A year later, Bhutto asked Khan to shift base to Islamabad in 1975 and was integrated into the Pak nuclear program as a co-equal of Munir. A.Q. Khan hit the ground running, launching the secret uranium enrichment plan, codenamed Project 706. The difference between Khan and Munir was that of hustle, which later became a complex, full-fledged theft and proliferation operation, blessed by the Pakistani state. Khan, with his 15 years of experience in Europe, gamed the laws, gamed the industry, and in some cases benefited purely from the business rivalries of European public and private firms involved in nuclear manufacturing and trade. Bhutto provided whatever else was needed through diplomacy and funds. From his earlier trip to Muslim nations, Libya's Muammar Gaddafi was the most forthcoming with aid, estimates of which vary from $100 to 500 million in those times. Gaddafi also facilitated illicit transfer of uranium ore, the yellow cake as it is called, from Nigeria and Niger to Pakistan, expecting, of course, in return that Pakistan would aid his own nuclear bomb program. If you have ever wondered why the cricket stadium in Lahore is named after the African dictator, now you know. Bhutto named it after Gaddafi as a show of gratitude. Subsequently, of course, some other Muslim nations backed Pakistan's nuclear program. Parallelly, Bhutto signed a deal with China in 1976. Under this, Pakistan would let the Chinese study a Canadian reactor they had as a gift from Canada in the 1950s for peaceful nuclear energy. While the Chinese copied and reverse engineered this Western technology, the Pakistanis observed and learned on the job. Pakistan was doing the dummy's job, procuring Western equipment on the sly, which the Chinese would reverse engineer for them. This helped the Chinese also to fast-track their own technology and get some exposure to Western ways. The Pakistanis, of course, in the bargain, inching closer to their bomb. But despite all the theft, despite all the technological know-how, despite all the hustle of Abdul Qadir Khan, things were still not moving fast enough. Half a decade had passed since the Indian tests, when General Zia-ul Haq deposed and executed Bhutto and took over the reins. An impatient Zia connected with China again, sent his emissary by the name of Lieutenant General Naqvi along with Khan and got 50 kgs of highly enriched uranium from Beijing in a special aircraft. Plus, the Chinese gifted a bomb design which the Pakistanis faithfully replicated. In return, they sought more of the Western technology, which the Khan network readily obliged with. Look at this page from the book Eating Grass, The Making of the Pakistani Bomb. It says that when the Pakistanis wanted to return the loaned enriched uranium, the Chinese asked them to keep it as their thank you, gift, for having provided the centrifuges. By the early 1980s, China had provided the blueprint for the bomb, highly enriched uranium, key components, and also the scientists who would assemble the parts into a whole at the Kahuta plant. Without China's help, Pakistan's bomb would not exist. All through this, the United States played a kabhi haan kabhi na role which would sustain the Pakistani bomb program. Many of its scientists who worked on the bomb had done their PhDs and research at American or European nuclear facilities through the 1950s and 1960s. A.Q. Khan himself was a product of that education and work experience in Germany and Denmark. The US also provided the first research reactor to Pakistan as part of the Atoms for Peace program. By the late 1970s, with the coming of the Russians into the Afghan theater, America turned a complete blind eye towards the Pakistani program. As part of the Reagan-Ziaul-Haq deal, the CIA pumped in US $3.2 billion into the Afghan jihad, all of it channelized through the Pak ISI. This was also the period when Islamabad was managing the China pivot of American policy from Henry Kissinger and Nixon days. Such was the indulgence that when in 1985 the US Congress enacted a law that required the American president to certify that Pakistan was not building nuclear weapons to keep its eligibility for receiving military and economic aid, both Reagan and Bush Sr. certified just that. Imagine the complicity of Americans. Despite knowing that Pakistan in fact had already built a nuclear weapon with Chinese help, basically America looked the other way so long as the Pakistanis avoided going hot with a test and did not show a bomb at their National Military Day parade. By 1990, Pakistan had built about a dozen warheads. The number now stands at over 100, all based on Chinese design, Chinese technology, and assisted by Chinese scientists in that period. Chinese magnets for producing weapons-grade enriched uranium, a Chinese furnace for shaping the uranium into a nuclear bomb core, and high-tech diagnostic equipment for nuclear weapons tests. As for its bomb, so for the missiles. Beginning early 1990s, Pakistan started getting the M11 and M9 series of Chinese missiles, renamed them Hatf and Shaheen. The shipments were tracked, prompting the Chinese to set up a manufacturing shop in Pakistan's Fatehjung, where totally knocked down kits of these missiles would get assembled. Parallelly, Korean Nodong missiles were procured and renamed Gauri-1. North Korean crews supervised the test launches in 1998. With the Taepedong missile getting renamed as Gauri-2 and Gauri-3 with varied ranges, as in the case of China, so with North Korea, Pakistan traded the centrifuge technology of West to purchase the missiles and did reverse engineering in the presence of Korean engineers. Imagine, during the Second Afghan War, America fired some Tomahawk missiles from the Arabian Sea-based naval assets over the Pakistani territory into Afghanistan. Some of those misfired and fell into Balochistan, which were quickly picked up by the Pakistanis and handed over to the Chinese, who then reverse engineered and turned them into their DH-10 missiles, the export version of which came back into the hands of Pakistan, and they renamed those as Babbar missile. Do you see a pattern? Gauri, Ghaznavi, Babbar, Abdali. Almost all the Pakistani missiles are named after the Islamic invaders who ravaged India in those medieval times. Khan had an ignominious exit, having overseen the making of the Pakistani bomb, having been given the highest of Pakistani civilian awards and honors. A.Q. Khan thought he was above law. He was a national hero feted across the country on campuses and social events. Success went to his head. His achievements, born of corruption, greed took over, and the smuggling network that Khan put in place over decades for the Pakistani bomb easily dovetailed into an illicit proliferation system after he moved out of the government and set up a private company in Dubai in the early 2000s. The network stayed a step ahead of regulation and export controls based on relationships with middlemen and front companies, and recruited technical experts through bribery and deception. Goes without saying that Khan continued to enjoy state protection. He would sign off his letters as cabinet minister in the Prime Minister's office, which could not have happened without a nod from the Pak establishment. Clandestine money laundering was an important component of the operations, but he was under the watch of Americans this time. In February of 2000, Khan sought a chartered flight from Turkey, which took a refueling stop at Zahedan in Iran. A similar chartered flight went to North Korea from Islamabad carrying suspect cargo. In early 2003, the IAEA confirmed Iran's construction of a pilot centrifuge facility in Natanz and revealed evidence that Pakistan had a role in it. Later that year, a German ship was seized in the Mediterranean by the Americans. It carried nuclear equipment procured from a company in Malaysia and was headed to Libya. Khan had got them made at a precision casting engineering factory in Malaysia, another Muslim country. The ship carried the components from Malaysia to Dubai, where it was relabeled as used machinery and now was headed to Libya. This was a tactic of disguising end user by relabeling and changing shipping routes to dodge intelligence agencies on the ground and spy satellites above. Khan used his position as a special advisor to the Prime Minister of Pakistan to carry on with this illicit nuclear trade. This was the post-9/11 world, of course. Something had to give. The then CIA Director George Tenet approached General Musharraf, by then the Chief Executive of Pakistan, with evidence of Khan's role in proliferation of nuclear technology and fissile material to Iran, North Korea, and Libya. Tenet told Musharraf that so far as the Americans were concerned, Khan was as dangerous, if not more, than Osama bin Laden, and that he had to act. Read the Riot Act, Musharraf made a virtue out of necessity by making Khan own up to his actions and was put under house arrest, in which he remained till 2009. He was released by a court, but his stature had considerably diminished within Pakistan. This was the same period in which India put its own nuclear bomb hero, APJ Abdul Kalam, to be the president of the country. The contrast between India's clean indigenous nuclear program and that of dark, corrupt Pakistani bomb could not have been clearer.
The investigation has established that many of the reported activities did occur and that these were inevitably initiated at my behest. In my interviews with the concerned government officials, I was confronted with the evidence and the findings, and I have voluntarily admitted that much of it is true and accurate.
On coming out of his house arrest, Khan fired salvos at all governments that had jockeyed on his shoulders for the bomb, from Bhutto to Musharraf. Through interviews, Khan sought to create a picture that from thieving the bomb to smuggling it to other nations, he was a mere cog in a corrupt regime that Pakistan built, reflecting its own society. Let me show you how Khan was not alone. Just that he was the famous face. Khan's rival and head of the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, Sultan Bashiruddin Mahmud, who retired in 1999, met Osama bin Laden in the summer of 2001 in Afghanistan. The two discussed nuclear weapons just a month before 9/11. Mahmud had set up his own shop like Khan by the name of Ummah Tamir-e-Naw. He later claimed that while he met bin Laden only once, he met Al-Qaeda leader Mullah Omar several times. Imagine this was happening when the Americans were present in full force with boots on the ground in Afghanistan. Mahmud was arrested by Musharraf on American insistence and was grilled by the CIA on bin Laden, apparently to no avail. This even as Mahmud failed several polygraph tests, which means he was lying through his teeth during the questioning. In fact, Libya's head of intelligence at that time, Musa Kusa, spilled the beans over to the Americans that Mahmud had offered assistance with building of nuclear bomb. He was clearly competing with his former rival, A.Q. Khan, who is still well ensconced in the Khan Research Lab, was already working with the Libyans for their bomb. Imagine again, a top Pakistani scientist meeting Osama bin Laden, and yet it took a decade more for the Americans to get to their fugitive of law right under the nose of the Pakistan army when they took out Laden in Abbottabad in 2011. This then is the story of the Pakistan's atom bomb, the dirty bomb, the Muslim bomb that Bhutto imagined and all subsequent governments worked to realize. The only atom bomb in the world that passes the Kalma test, perhaps. even if it fails all other tests of morality. Thanks for watching.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिरज का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
I don't just report from courtrooms on verdicts, I decode them. From breaking news to complex legal verdicts, every word is backed by law. At the Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to report on legal issues with accuracy and speed. The RSJ Diploma, starting on the 30th of June. Apply now.
We don't just get you the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSJ Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here.
I don't just report from courtrooms on verdicts, I decode them. From breaking news to complex legal verdicts, every word is backed by law. At the Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to report on legal issues with accuracy and speed. The RSJ Diploma, starting on the 30th of June. Apply now.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front line. Accuracy, urgency, courage, and responsibility. At Public School of Journalism, you will be trained for all that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning. Inside a working newsroom from day first. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency, and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It is not theory. It is live learning from inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism.
Welcome, you're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. Union Home Minister today said that Mamata Banerjee's time is up and BJP will form the government in West Bengal in 2026. We'll tell you about that, but first up, as always, the headlines.
दीदी मेरी बात सुन लो, आपका समय अब समाप्त हो गया है। 26 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah leads BJP's election battle in West Bengal, says BJP will come to power with a massive mandate in Bengal in 2026.
मुर्शिदाबाद में अभी हिंसा हुई। बंगाल सरकार के मंत्री इस दंगों में शामिल थे। ये स्टेट स्पॉन्सर दंगा था जिन्होंने हिंदुओं को अन्याय किया है।
Amit Shah launches blistering attack on Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee, says Hindus targeted in West Bengal, whereas Mamta is involved in vote bank politics. Heavy rains trigger flash floods and landslides in Assam, Manipur, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. What we're learning so far is that at least 22 people have lost their lives. In a major crackdown on ISI-backed terror networks, Amritsar police dismantled a terror and extortion module linked to the outfit Babbar Khalsa International. Ukraine drone hits more than 40 Russian bomber planes, claims Ukrainian security services. There's a big update on government's deadline to end the Indigo-Turkish airline partnership. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers has said that airline will comply with the government's order. He also added that the extension gives them more time to find the solution for the affected passengers and that Indigo is actively working to address the issue in the coming months. Listen in.
I think the answer is in the phrasing of the question, your second question. There has been a government decision and will of course be compliant with the government decision. So that means we have the coming month to find a solution for the customers which were booked. The extension helps us of course to have more time to get that addressed, and we'll look how to address it and how to incorporate it. And we still have time for the next few months to.
Now shifting our focus to the state of West Bengal, their Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a massive rally in Calcutta ahead of the 2026 Bengal Assembly elections. Union Home Minister said that BJP will come to power in West Bengal with a massive mandate. He also launched a blistering attack on TMC, claiming that Mamta Banerjee and her the party is involved in appeasement politics, whereas Hindus are being targeted in the state under Chief Minister's watch.
हर क्षेत्र में सालों तक बंगाल ने भारत का नेतृत्व करा और वही बंगाल में कई सालों तक कम्युनिस्टों का शासन रहा और उसके बाद मां माटी मानुष का नारा देकर ममता दीदी आई और उन्होंने ये महान बंग भूमि को आज घुसपैठ, भ्रष्टाचार, स्त्रियों पर अत्याचार, अपराध, बम धमाके और हिंदुओं के साथ दुराचार का केंद्र बनाकर रख दिया है। दुराचार का केंद्र बना। भाइयों बहनों, यही बंगाल में चुनावी हिंसा सेशन के बाद, जब टीआर सेशन सीईसी बने उसके बाद पूरे देश में चुनावी हिंसा बंद हो गई। मगर ये बंगाल है जिसमें चुनाव के वक्त और दीदी को विजय मिलने के बाद सैकड़ों भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को मौत के घाट उतार दिया जाता है। दीदी, कब तक बचाओगी उनको? मेरी बात सुन लो, आपका समय अब समाप्त हो गया है। 26 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली और मैं सारे हजारों की संख्या में बैठे हुए मेरे मंडल के पदाधिकारियों को ये वादा करना चाहता हूं कि यहां तृणमूल की सरकार जाते ही हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं के हत्या के अपराधियों को जमीन में गाड़ा है तो भी बाहर निकालकर सजा करने का काम करें। लोकतंत्र के अंदर हिंसा कभी शोभा नहीं देती है। दीदी हिम्मत हो तो हिंसा के बगैर, रैगिंग के बगैर चुनाव कराकर देखो, आपकी खुद की जमानत ये बंगाल की जनता जब्त कर लेगी। वोट बैंक की तुष्टीकरण ने वोट बैंक के लिए पतन की सीमा ये ममता बनर्जी ने पार कर दी। अभी कुछ दिन पहले पहलगांव में पाक प्रेरित आतंकवादियों ने हमारे निर्दोष नागरिकों को, यात्रिकों को धर्म पूछ कर परिवार के सामने मार दिया। मुझे बताओ बंगाल वालों, वो पाक प्रेरित आतंकवादियों को सजा देनी चाहिए या नहीं देनी चाहिए? अरे जोर से बोलो, देनी चाहिए या नहीं देनी चाहिए? मोदी जी ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर किया, ठीक किया या नहीं किया? भाइयों बहनों, हमने सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक करी, एयर स्ट्राइक करी और अब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर कर 100 किलोमीटर अंदर जाकर उनके हेडक्वार्टर को ध्वस्त कर दिया। सैकड़ों आतंकवादी मौत के घाट उतार दिए गए और दीदी के पेट में दर्द होता है। दीदी, इतना दर्द बंगाल का यात्री जब वहां मारे गए तब किया होता तो ठीक था। उस वक्त कुछ नहीं बोला और मोदी जी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर कर यहां आए तो एक घटिया सा राजनीतिक बयान देकर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का विरोध किया। मैं आज ममता दीदी को कहने आया हूं, आपने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का विरोध नहीं किया। आपने इस देश की करोड़ों माताओं बहनों की भावनाओं के साथ खिलवाड़ किया है, खिलवाड़ किया। और मैं बंगाल की मातृशक्ति को भी अपील करने आया हूं, आने वाले चुनाव में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर सवाल उठाने वाली ममता जी को सिंदूर की कीमत बंगाल की माताएं बहनें जरा समझा दे, सिंदूर का अपमान करने का क्या मतलब होता है। भाइयों बहनों, 1990 से ये देश आतंकवाद झेलता है। 40,000 से ज्यादा लोग आतंकवाद की भेंट चढ़ गए। ये कांग्रेस की सरकारें, यूपीए की सरकारें, इंडिया अलायंस की सरकारें, जिसमें ममता बनर्जी भी मंत्री थी, कुछ नहीं करती थी। नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार आने के बाद गोली का जवाब गोले से देने की शुरुआत नरेंद्र मोदी ने। और ममता जी, आप जितना पक्ष लेना है उतना पाक प्रेरित आतंकवादियों का पक्ष ले लो। मैं बताकर जाता हूं, ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार है, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर समाप्त नहीं हुआ है। अब कोई भी हिमाकत करेगा तो उसको उतनी ही मजबूती के साथ जवाब देने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी जी करेंगे। भाइयों बहनों, आगामी चुनाव में यहां बैठे हुए सभी मंडल के पदाधिकारियों का मेरा विनती है कि बंगाल का चुनाव सिर्फ बंगाल का भविष्य नहीं तय करता है। बंगाल का चुनाव देश की सुरक्षा के साथ जुड़ा हुआ चुनाव, क्योंकि ममता बनर्जी ने हमारे देश की सीमाओं को बांग्लादेशियों के लिए खुला कर दिया है। इनके आशीर्वाद से घुसपैठ हो रही है। मुझे बताओ मित्रों, घुसपैठ रोकनी चाहिए या नहीं रोकनी चाहिए? जोर से बोलो, रोकनी चाहिए या नहीं रोकनी चाहिए? क्या दीदी रोक सकती है? जोर से बोलो, रोक सकती है? ये भाईपो रोक सकते हैं क्या? घुसपैठ केवल और केवल कमल फूल की सरकार रोक सकती है। तृणमूल के सांसद मुझे संसद में पूछ रहे थे कि बीएसएफ क्या कर रही है। अरे ममता दीदी, हमने आपसे भूमि मांगी है, पूरी भूमि दे दो, बाढ़ को समाप्त हो जाने दो, एक परिंदा भी पैर नहीं मार पाएगा, परिंदा भी पैर नहीं। आप जानबूझकर बॉर्डर पर भूमि नहीं देते हो क्योंकि घुसपैठ चलती रहे, आपकी वोट बैंक बढ़ती रहे और आपके बाद आपका भतीजा भी मुख्यमंत्री बनता रहे। भाइयों बहनों, ये होने वाला नहीं।
Now shifting our focus, Sikkim is reeling under flash floods after heavy downpour is what we are learning. Rescue operations are underway for the second day to find the 9 missing persons after a tourist vehicle carrying 11 people plunged 1,000 feet into the river near Chombobu in Magan district is what we are learning. There were also a cloud burst in the upper areas. The water level of Teesta River has increased by 4 meters. The roads are broken at multiple places. Here is a detailed report.
The Teesta River's water level rose significantly on Sunday due to heavy and continuous downpour in Sikkim. The India Meteorological Department issued a red alert for today in the state's Mangan district for heavy to very heavy rain in the region. The Met Department also issued an orange alert for Sikkim's Gyalshing, Namchi, Soreng, Gangtok and Payong district for the next 24 hours. According to the district administration, many properties have been damaged due to landslide.
जो टूरिस्ट उस एक्सीडेंट में मुंशी थंग चोबम्बू में मिसिंग हुआ था, मिसिंग नहीं, जो एक्सीडेंट में नदी में गिरा था, तो उसमें से 2 को तो जिंदा निकाला 29 के रात को ही रेस्क्यू टीम ने। बाकी जो 9 आदमी है उसमें से इंक्लूडिंग ड्राइवर जो सिक्किम का था, तो कल दिन भर हम लोगों ने रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया था। एसडीआरएफ, एनडीआरएफ और ये आईटीबीपी सारे लोगों ने कोशिश किया, लेकिन नदी के अंदर जो गाड़ी चली गई थी तो वो गाड़ी निकल नहीं पाया, गाड़ी नज़र भी नहीं आ रहा है, एक छोटा सा उसका पोर्शन नज़र आ रहा है। उसको खींचने के, हिलाने की बहुत कोशिश की, लेकिन डेब्रिस की जो सैंड और जो डेब्रिस होता है उससे दब करके वो निकल नहीं रहा है।
In North Sikkim, landslides were reported in the Thieng and Chunthong areas, causing damage to multiple properties. The IMD has strongly advised citizens to avoid unnecessary travel, remain indoors, and stay away from riverbanks and vulnerable slopes.
Now moving on, major controversy has broken out over the arrest of a 22-year-old law student. Her name is Sharmishta Panoli. She's been arrested. She is also an influencer who had posted an objectionable post on social media, which she later deleted and apologized for. Now the Bharatiya Janata Party is questioning selective action and accusing the Bengal government of Mamata Banerjee of appeasement politics. Here are all the details.
Instagram influencer Sharmishta Panoli is in the middle of a major controversy. 22-year-old law student of Symbiosis International University, Pune, was arrested by Kolkata police on Friday afternoon from a Gurugram residence. Sarmishta was arrested over an alleged objectionable social media post and is currently in 14-day judicial custody. Following the controversy and the outrage over her post, Sarmishta, who has around 90,000 followers, deleted the objectionable videos and issued an apology. However, Kolkata police reached Gurugram with a warrant after an FIR was filed and arrested the accused influencer. The political slugfest has begun over her arrest and Bengal's police swift action in the case. BJP leader Suvendu Adhikari has questioned Mamta's government's selective action and asked why no action was taken against many of her own party leaders for alleged hurtful comments.
ये लोग जो कर रहा है एपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स कर रहा है। एक खास समुदाय जिनका उनका वोट बैंक है उनको तुष्टीकरण करने के लिए कर रहा है।
Andhra Pradesh's Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan is another leader who has questioned the Bengal police. Pawan Kalyan said that the blasphemy must be condemned always. Secularism isn't a shield for someone and a sword for others. The social media influencer has also found support in a Dutch Member of Parliament, Geert Wilders, who has called the arrest a disgrace for freedom of speech. An arrest over a social media post has now turned into a full-fledged political controversy, igniting questions of selective action and freedom of speech.
Now shifting our focus, lauding Operation Sindoor, Yoga Guru Babbar Khalsa has said that Indian armed forces enter 100 to 200 kilometers inside Pakistan to decimate the terrorists there. He also emphasized that the crackdown on them has not stopped. Listen in.
Yoga Guru Babbar Khalsa has delivered a fiery endorsement of India's military might. He has lauded Operation Sindoor and backed Prime Minister Modi in saying that the operation is yet not over.
जिन्होंने हमारी माँ बहन बेटियों का सिंदूर छीना, उनको उनके घर में जाकर के हमने मारा है 100-200 किलोमीटर भीतर घुस करके। मोदी जी ने कह दिया अभी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर बंद नहीं हुआ है।
Calling Operation Sindoor a symbol of unity, Ramdev emphasized that our country knows how to protect the border.
तो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हमारे सेना का, हमारे मिलिट्री पैरा मिलिट्री का ये शौर्य, वीरता, पराक्रम है। ये देश की एकता, अखंडता और संप्रभुता का प्रतीक है और ये नए भारत की सेना है। ये हमारी संप्रभुता का भी प्रश्न है और ये इस बात का प्रतीक है कि भारत अपनी सीमाओं की सुरक्षा और अपने राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा कैसे करनी है, इसको जानता है।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has attended the BJP Workers' Special Organisation meeting. The meeting was held at Netaji Indoor Stadium in Calcutta, and this was a part of Home Minister Amit Shah's 2 days visit to Calcutta. Yesterday, he attended a meeting with the party leaders, and today he inaugurated a new CFSL building at Rajarhat. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath welcomed Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar along with his wife as they arrive in Agra. In fact, the Vice President is attending a program in Agra celebrating the 300th birthday of Mata Ahilyabai Holkar. Yogi Adityanath calls this program an example of the responsibility which we have towards our nation's heroes. After days of incessant rainfall in Assam, ferry service between Majuli and Nimati has been suspended. This is because Brahmaputra river continues to swell amid heavy rainfall in this region. An employee of Inland Water Transport, Dipankar, has said that the decision to suspend ferry services was taken for the safety of the passengers. A bridge built on Teesta River is currently under restoration after it was partially damaged due to the reverse current. Heavy rainfall in this region has in fact caused an increase in water in the river. A local shared the bridge is a lifeline for people and the only way to travel to many places. In a suspected suicide case, the bodies of a brother and a sister were found hanging inside a log flat in East Delhi's Dilshad Garden area. The incident came to light following a PCR call received by Simapuri police regarding a foul smell emanating from a flat in pocket D of Dilshad Garden. The police has found the Flat was locked from inside when they arrived. Further investigation in this case is underway. Assam Agriculture Minister Atul Bora visits family of Pahalgam terror attack victim Syed Ali Hussain Shah, who died while saving terrorists. He handed over the letter from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and an ex gratia of 5 lakh rupees to the family as a one-time financial assistance from the government of Assam. Bora also said that he will also pay a courtesy call to Manoj Sinha, the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, today at J&K Raj Bhavan. This is what the Assam Chief Minister's office has said. From Punjab now, the Amritsar police has now arrested 2 individuals who are associated with the terror and extortion module linked to Babbar Khalsa International. In fact, the arrested have been identified to be Karajpreet Singh and Gurlal Singh alias Harman, who are both residents of the Taran Taran area of Punjab. Jeevan Fauji demanded an extortion amount from the owner of a furniture shop, Manveer Singh's brother. When he did not pay the amount, they fired shots at Manveer in the shop. When the police arrived, shots were fired at them as well, but the police dodged them. Harman was shot in leg, when the police retaliated. Tripura Chief Minister visited flood-affected areas and relief camps in Agartala today. Incessant rainfall in Tripura for the past few days has damaged various sections of the national highway, hindering people's daily lives. Traffic and power supply has also been disrupted across the state as trees got uprooted and fell on electric poles. State officials have said that around 150 houses were damaged, with at least half of them completely destroyed. Relief camps have been opened in several areas of Tripura, with a few hundred people taking shelter in these slums.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho Befikar.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस हैं शोर तो करेंगे ही ना
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans, super silent performance with voice control.
सिली में आए तो और
Cricket fans.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े क्या निराला MDH मसाला
I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one of it.
Co-powered by best internationally recognized hospitality education brand in India.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े क्या निराला MDH मसाला
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबा केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Feeling good. Look good. You look good. Well, progress is good. You know, we're working on everything. It's moving along. I feel good.
Have you decided on your treatment options?
Yeah, we have. We're underway, and everybody's all.
Co-powered by best internationally recognized hospitality education brand in India.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते।
Sir, fans है, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना?
नए वाले नहीं करते। And they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
Silly me, I thought.
Cricket fans.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental. 20 billion, not 20 million, a lot, not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about.
A very warm welcome, viewers. Today we bring you the top stories from the world of defense. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh's blunt warning on delays in defense projects have rang the alarm. Next up, we'll get you how giant leap in India's defense future as government has greenlit the AMCA project. Now, what does it really mean? How long could it take? Rajnath Singh's loud and clear message from the seas to Pakistan. And all this in today's episode of Forces First. I am Rakshita Mitra. Let's begin. So India's Operation Sindoor continues to make headlines across the world. Air operations came into focus and Indian leaders warned the enemy till date that we will not back down. The threats to national security, viewers, still looms. India is prepared and India needs the best of arsenal more than ever before now. So now, what's grabbing the headlines is the major wake-up call from the Chief of Indian Air Force, Air Chief Marshal AP Singh. He is known for never mincing words. He has once again flagged chronic delays in India's indigenous defense projects. His message is blunt and clear. Not a single major project has been completed and delivered on time. He has hit out at what he calls unrealistic timeliness and hollow promises, warning that these delays are threatening the operational readiness of our armed forces. Listen in.
They said your coffee is ready. So I need to hurry up. This Op Sindoor, as it is, like it was told by Chief of Naval Staff, that character of war is changing. Every day we're finding new technologies coming in. Technology is coming in a big way in our warfare now. And Op Sindoor has again given us clear idea of where we are headed and what we need in future. So a lot of work needs to be done in realigning our own thought processes also, which is already going on. Pran jaye par vachan na jaye. RM just told today only. I think that is something that we have. Timelines is a big issue. That is where that vachan part comes in. So once a timeline is given, not a single project that I can think of has been completed on time. So this is something where we have to look at. Why should we promise something which cannot be achieved? While signing the contract itself, some of the times we are sure that it is not going to come up. But we just sign the contract. Uske baad dekhenge kya karna. Obviously then the process gets vitiated. The current situation in the world has made us realize that Atmanirbharta is the only solution. But we have to be now ready to be future ready. So that is the concern, that yes, I can look at next 10 years we will have certain more output from the industry, Indian industry, we have from the DRDO. But what is required today is required today. So we need to quickly get our act together. The point that was brought out by Honorable RM as well as Defence Secretary, that the fact that AMCA, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, I'm not calling it what generation, because finally when it comes out it should be of contemporary generation. But that AMCA has been cleared for even participation by private industry, which is a very big step. And that is the kind of, I think, confidence that the nation has in private industry today. And I'm sure this is going to pave a way to bigger things coming in the future.
So imagine the state of affairs, viewers, and remember, this arsenal is more important than ever since Operation Sindoor has begun, viewers. Now, ACM Singh is not the first time making such a statement. In fact, back in February during the Aero India, that was, of course, the biggest air show in Asia, he was found scolding one of the HL officials. He was once again lamenting that the deliveries have not come on time, viewers. Take a look.
I can only tell you what our requirements and what our worries are. You have to alleviate those worries and make us more confident. At the moment, I am just not confident of HA, which is very, very wrong thing to happen. No, HAL is our own company. We all have worked there. I also served in HAL there was a temporary pilot. I have also been there, and of course very closely in NFTC. That's like HAL flying. I find it that we are just not in mission mode. Everything is ho jayega, I was promised when I come here in February, I will see 11 Mark 1A is ready, minus the engine. That is what I was promised. And not a single is ready.
Viewers, this is a completely valid point by the Air Chief Marshal. Now take the example of Tejas fighter as well, viewers. The Tejas Mk1A project, that has been delayed. It has missed March 31st, this year's deadline. The Kaveri engine project, still stuck in limbo. In fact, 180 fighter jets, to talk about Tejas, they had to be delivered by 2031. Tejas is grappling with engine supply setbacks and manufacturing hurdles. The stakes couldn't be higher. These aren't just mere projects or delays on paper. They affect our defense preparedness on ground. There's a delay in testing. It was earlier scheduled in 2025. Now it's going to happen next year. Kaveri, we were talking about, initiated in 1986. Delay of around 39 long years. And now it's completely unimaginable. DRDO mission projects, 23 of 55 delayed, includes radars, missiles and combat gear. Also, viewers, we are telling you that how many combat, we have squadrons, IAF squadrons. Information on that IAF squadrons, we are falling short of IAF squadrons as well, viewers. There is a delay in the projects already. And now the IAF squadrons, are also falling short, viewers. All right, viewers, now we are being joined by a special guest on the broadcast. For more on this, we have Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor joining us. Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor, thank you so much for joining us on Republic TV, sir. What do you make of Air Chief Marshal AP Singh's blunt warning? Because this has come at a very crucial time and it's ringing alarms now. It's high time that he is listened to with full seriousness and that action is taken.
See, for your viewers, I'll just take 2 minutes to run through the background. What is the problem with all the DRDO projects? So we've had many of them in the past few years, and I could name starting from Tejas to Arihant, to Akash, to Nirbhay, to Arjun, to Vikrant. Each and every DRDO project has overshot the period. So this is the background which the chief had mentioned in his talk just a day ago. Now, the reasons are many, and it is a time now, and more so after Operation Sindoor, that the nation will have to look at involving a lot of other agencies into the game. The overambitious planning, which we do with no clear benchmarking, the bureaucratic red tape, the lack of private sector partnership and integration, technical bottlenecks, design modifications which keep happening as the technology develops, and import dependence, here are the verticals, in my opinion, that stand out. So what we need to do at this stage is that we will have to lay down the clear priorities. And after Op Sindoor, the focus now is more and more on indigenous weapons. So the integration of armed forces professionals, along with the academia, along with the IIT or startups, along with the OEMs, will have to sit under one umbrella and we'll have to work. This is my take.
Also, we have to understand that we are talking about the very ambitious AMCA project also at a time when we are facing multiple threats. We have threat from China, who is now in fact also going on to show that it has developed a prototype for 6th gen fighters. It's also helping Pakistan with the stealth fighter jets. Now, at such a juncture, can we also, afford to have the AMCA project just been approved in its model form? Because we need to fast track that as well.
So, you are absolutely right in what you're asking is, now as per the media reports which I was seeing, Pakistanis are going to get 2 squadrons of GA-35s by the end of the year. And here we are given an ambitious time of 2034 to get AMCA. The Honorable Raksha Mantri in his speech the other day had mentioned. Now 2034 is too long a period wherein the adversary will have by year end 2 squadrons with them. So in my opinion, we will have to continue developing our own AMCA aircraft. We will have to continue with our own R&D. But parallelly, we should purchase 2 squadrons of Su-57s directly from Russia. It could be G2G purchase. It could be, modified to Indian conditions. So this will give us, the gap of 9 years which we have to meet any such requirement in any operations which we get. This is my take.
Right. Air Chief Marshal Kapoor, thanks so much for joining. Air Marshal Kapoor, thanks so much for joining us with your insight on that big story that we're tracking on Forces First, viewers. Now, it's a giant leap as we're talking about AMCA. This is for India's defense future. Of course, the demand is very much important at present as well. Now, the Raksha Mantri had greenlit this program, the AMCA program. This is not just a project, it's a statement by India, a statement of power, statement of ambition, and more importantly, Atmanirbhar Bharat. This government plans to develop 5 prototypes of this 5th generation fighter jet, a move that will not only strengthen the Air Force, but will also build an entire aerospace ecosystem and with sovereignty right here at home. Calling it a bold and decisive one, Rajnath Singh called it a game changer. With this, India moves closer to join an elite global club of nations that can design, that can develop and produce the next generation fighter jets. Now viewers, we have to understand about this Atmanirbharta push, the AMCA, that is, it's a made in India fighter jet program, very, very importantly. Now it's a 5th generation stealth fighter jet project while we have, we have Beijing planning on the 6th generation and 7th generation already, India still is waiting for that. That's very important. It's a twin-engine, 25-ton aircraft, this stealth jet. It's designed for long-range air-to-air missiles. Also, this is going to be made in India. It's indigenous. It's AI-enabled system for real-time decision making as well. So there will be real-time changes if at all needed. It provides the ability to super cruise as well. Very importantly, viewers. And these are the important features that it's equipped with advanced avionics and network-centric downtime. It reduces the downtime. Also enables predictive maintenance. That is the AMCA, which we are telling you about. It also aims to elevate the IAF into an elite club, which India is of course waiting for. It cannot delay this any further. So these are the important features of the AMCA that we told you about, viewers, and it's going to be an entry into the very entry global club. And we are also we are speaking to Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastav, who joined us on the broadcast for more on the AMCA. We are now being joined by Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastav on the broadcast. Air Vice Marshal Srivastav, thank you so much for joining us. Now, AMCA is much talked about, and everybody is very excited about the 5th gen stealth jet. First of all, I want to understand from you, how important is it right now for India?
Rakshita, I think it is something which should have come yesterday, is going to come tomorrow or day after. And there's a huge debate going on in the country about the timelines. And timelines are being perceived as threatening timelines because there's a gap of nearly 9 years, what has been promised. And we want it to be there, if not later than 2030. So if you want to do that job, first question is it possible? Are we are all speaking from the experience of LCA, experience of so many other guided weapon programs. But now let me tell the viewers through your channel that we are a much more mature country in terms of vendor establishment, in terms of big companies who do the defense work. I have been myself in one of the company, and I have also been in one of the defense public sector undertaking as director and director production. So I know all the nuances which go into it. We need to concentrate on 3 things. If you really ask me how these things get so delayed, I would blame process as the first thing. The kind of processes which we have in the government, to whether we have to give somebody an order or we have to make a collaboration, we are very process-centric, and in that we lose a lot of time. Lot means lot of time. So if you analyze those things, really bisect and dissect and trisect, you'll find you need to focus on that, and that can only be achieved in case AMCA is to be produced by a special purpose vehicle, which happens to be an enterprise which is between a kind of collaboration between public sector and private sector. Of course, it needs a lot more things to go, but that is the first requirement, because if you take a cue from US government, what it does, it gives it to either Lockheed Martin or to Boeing. These two are private sector companies, and then it gets going. That means the public fund becomes private fund, and it gets the agility and the kind of agility it needs. And it becomes contextual. They want the focus on the end result, that I need AMCA or my aircraft by this time. They don't focus on the process. We in public sector focus on process more than the end result or timeline. And therefore, you ask anyone who has suffered this or who wanted to do it fast, he'll tell you the same story. Second thing, do you need an oversight? You need a great oversight, like in ISRO case. Prime Minister himself oversights all the missions. This AMCA project is a national project, is a national commitment. It has to go into mission mode. Mission mode under the direct control of Prime Minister of the country through CCS. CCS will all the 4 major ministries which control the whole thing. Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Defense. And that will give the powers. Things will get resolved very fast, be it around the, let's say, various international partnerships various people want to do. The External Affairs Ministry can come in play. you want to acquire land or something, Home Ministry can do the job. Finance, you need some funds. So likewise, and Defense Ministry, of course, for the oversight for whom it's being developed. And there has to be a very great measure of connectivity throughout the process of the Indian Air Force, the user. So in my opinion, it's a doable thing if we focus on that. Now the question is, what do we do in between? Of course, that's a huge question. And a lot of people talk about Su-57. I think if we buy Su-57 from Russians, it may penetrate our diplomatic armor. Last time we were able to save it and we bought S-400, but Su-57 may be another game. And I don't know, because you need to survive diplomatically too. That is CATSA, countering America's adversary through Sanctions Act. I don't know what will happen to that. So I'll be a little skeptical, but I'm pretty sure about one thing, that we have to go the AMCA route, the indigenous way. That is the solution for all our ailments which we face. And this will also aggregate a lot of technologies. Once you're through with AMCA,
right, sir,
Rakshita, you will be through with all kinds of weapon systems, because it is a threshold of the technology.
Yes, sir.
But you need to work over it and need to correct and sort of make your processes good.
Yes.
You need to have a private sector vehicle and you need to have oversight in mission mode from Prime Minister's office.
Yes, Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava, thank you so much for putting that out articulately and giving us your insights. The Indian Army is carrying out extensive capacity development demonstrations at multiple key locations across India, including the Pokhran field firing ranges, Babina field firing ranges, and Joshimath as well. In fact, air defense demonstrations happening in Agra as well, in Gopalpur as well. And these trials are being conducted to show that India is ready, India is prepared. It is still in action mode because the operation is only paused. The firing has been paused. Operation is still underway. And that's, we are going to show you those visuals of the Army Chief who this week had visited the Babina firing range as well. He was witnessing how the indigenous drones and loitering munitions have performed in Operation Sindoor and their readiness for future battles as well, viewers. Remember, the drones have been very important part of this operation. Drones, in fact, viewers, play a crucial part. They were the game changer. They were made in India and they were pivotal in the surveillance operations particularly. The drones deployed not only deterred Pakistani targets, but also they were part of an early warning system to detect the enemy troop movement and calculate the potential ground attacks as well. Indian armed forces showed the world the true meaning of self-reliance in modern warfare, the drone warfare, unmanned warfare, proving that the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat also stands strong even in the heat of the battle, and India is still battle ready. These drones on your screens are battle ready. Now, viewers, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh this week gave a clear message from the seas. In his words, next time the Indian Navy will respond to Pakistan's provocations. They were so well prepared. He says that the Navy of India has the power to, could in fact completely destroy Pakistan. The also, of course, spoke at length about the power and preparation of the Indian Navy, how Pakistan could have been broken into 4 pieces as well. Now, the statement was not just about symbolism, it was also strategic. Now, we'll tell you why he was talking about INS Vikrant and why did he visit INS Vikrant, viewers, because this is one of the most powerful warship. It is a floating fortress, in fact, viewers. We are going to show you the visuals of Rajnath Singh's visit as well, and then tell you about the mighty missile fleet that led the 36-ship armada to strike the Karachi port in Pakistan. It was all ready to strike, and which in fact prevented the Pakistani naval fleet to in fact leave the shores as well. Let's take a listen in to Rajnath Singh first.
बार तो पाकिस्तान को भारतीय नौसेना की फायर पावर का सामना नहीं करना पड़ा, मगर दुनिया जानती है अगर पाकिस्तान ने इस बार कोई नापाक हरकत की तो हो सकता है कि इस बार की ओपनिंग और किसी के द्वारा ना हो, हमारी नेवी के द्वारा होगी। साथियों, पाकिस्तान को यह समझ लेने की जरूरत है आतंकवाद के जिस खतरनाक खेल को वह आज़ादी के समय से ही खेलता आ रहा है, उसकी मियाद अब खत्म हो चुकी है।
Now we leave you with very powerful visuals coming in, viewers. Let's dive into naval she-heroes, the circumnavigation saga, when you get to hear the Indian Navy women officers, Lieutenant Commander Rupa A and Lieutenant Commander Dilna K's story, who braved the storm, steered through silence and circled the planet aboard the INSV Tarini. Watch this video as we say goodbye. Jai Hind.
Indian naval sailing vessel तारिणी, असीम समंदर, अनकही चुनौतियां और अथाह खूबसूरत पल। भारतीय नौसेना की दो होनहार ऑफिसर्स लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर दिलना और लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर रूपा ने पूरा कर लिया है दुनिया का सफर। समुद्र के रास्ते हुई अनप्रिडिक्टेड लहरों से मुलाकात, अनगिनत चुनौतियों से भरी बीती रात, महासागर के इम्तिहान को कैसे पास किया और कैसे दोनों महिला ऑफिसर्स ने सक्सेसफुली कंप्लीट किया सर्कमनेविगेशन। 8 महीने एक नाव पर और पूरा विश्व उनके नक्शे पर। अपनी गौरवशाली यात्रा को पूरा कर वे लौट आए हैं भारत, लेकर अपने साथ कहानियों का समंदर।
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Feeling good. Look good. You look good. Well, progress is good. You know, we're working on everything. It's moving along. I feel good.
Have you decided on your treatment options?
Yeah, we have. We're underway, and all the folks are very optimistic.
And so you've started treatment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would you be willing to share what exactly that entails?
Yeah, it's all a matter of taking a pill, one particular pill. And for the next 6 weeks, and then another one. And the expectation is we're going to be able to beat this. It's not in any organ. It's my bones are strong. I haven't penetrated, so I'm feeling good.
I don't believe it was Joe Biden. I really don't. I mean, look, he's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime. Not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people. I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital, do it. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to.
The Teesta River's water level rose significantly on Sunday due to heavy and continuous downpour in Sikkim. The India Meteorological Department issued a red alert for today in the state's Mangan district for heavy to very heavy rain in the region. The Met Department also issued an orange alert for Sikkim's Gyalsing, Namchi, Soreng, Gangtok and Payong district for the next 24 hours. According to the district administration, many properties have been damaged due to landslide.
जो टूरिस्ट उस एक्सीडेंट में मुंशीथंग छोबम्बू में मिसिंग हुआ था, मिसिंग नहीं जो एक्सीडेंट में नदी में गिरा था, तो उसमें से 2 को तो जिंदा निकाला 29 के रात को ही रेस्क्यू टीम ने। बाकी जो 9 आदमी है उसमें से इंक्लूडिंग ड्राइवर जो सिक्किम का था, तो कल दिन भर हम लोगों ने रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया था। SDRF, NDRF और ये ITBP सारे लोगों ने कोशिश किया, लेकिन नदी के अंदर जो गाड़ी चली गई थी तो वो गाड़ी निकल नहीं पाया, गाड़ी नज़र भी नहीं आ रहा है, एक छोटा सा उसका पोर्शन नज़र आ रहा है, उसको खींचने के हिलाने की बहुत कोशिश की, लेकिन डेब्रिस की जो सैंड और जो डेब्रिस होता है उससे दब करके वो निकल नहीं रहा है।
In North Sikkim, landslides were reported in the Thieng and Chunthang areas, causing damage to multiple properties. The IMD has strongly advised citizens to avoid unnecessary travel, remain indoors, and stay away from riverbanks and vulnerable slopes.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस हैं, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना।
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
Silly me आए तो और
Cricket fans.
I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental cause. 20 billion, not 20 million, a lot, not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about. Nobody's been able to find it. $8 million for making mice transgender. So they spend $8 million on making mice transgender. And those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that, but we have other things to do. So it's much, much more than just that. We're totally committed to making the Doge cuts permanent and stopping much more of the waste. And
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hi there, good evening and welcome to this special broadcast on Republic TV. Looking Ahead is about stories that are shaping up over the coming week. News that is developing and would have consequences for your life, impact your choices. Stories that shape India's politics, geopolitics and geoeconomics alike. Tonight, I bring to you 3 in the long form format. Going deep
into the developments that would pan out over the coming week. Story number 1. BJP completes 11 years in power this week. While it launches a mega communication blitz from the national capital to lakhs of village panchayats, how is the Modi government's third term running being seen on the ground? A comprehensive ground report there. Story number 2. As Israel and Hamas agree to a United States brokered ceasefire, there is equal parts hope and despair. Hope among the families who still have their members hostage in Gaza. Despair as the two sides are still contesting the terms of the agreement. We get some ground reports looking forward to the developments in Israel and Gaza. And then story number 3 tonight. The banker of the central government, the Reserve Bank of India, is set for 3 days of deliberations on the interest rates. The Monetary Policy Committee meets June 4 to 6. What's in store for us, for you and me tonight? We would, of course, have experts unspooling these stories. Let me get you the headlines first. All right, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has sounded the poll bugle in West Bengal during his 2-day visit to Kolkata. Shah declared in the Netaji Indoor Stadium that Mamata Banerjee's tenure as Chief Minister is set to end in 2026. Shah hid out at Mamata for criticizing Operation Sindoor, surrounded her on the Bangladeshi infiltrator issue, and called out Mamata's political violence and appeasement politics. The battle for Bengal has officially begun. The political run-up in the poll-bound state of Bihar heats up. LJP Ram Vilas hints at pitting party chief and Union Minister Chirag Paswan in the state assembly elections slated to be held later this year. BJP says they welcome the possibility of their allies pitching in the state elections. Chirag even finds a nod from Jan Swaraj chief Prashant Kishore for his state re-entry. Meanwhile, the chorus to make him the chief minister candidate echoes from his party, the LJP. Cloudburst in northeast, the NDRF and SDRF have deployed in the northeast after severe rains trigger landslides and flash floods following a cloudburst. Flash floods and landslides have killed 22 people across the region, with Assam, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur heavily affected. 5 people have lost their lives after mudslides in Guwahati. 9 have drowned in Arunachal Pradesh, and close to 78,000 people are directly impacted by the floods in Assam. Assam's Agriculture Minister Atul Bora met the family of Pahalgam terror attack victim Adil Hussain Shah in Pahalgam to offer his condolences on behalf of Assam government. Bora also presented a cheque of rupees 5 lakhs to Adil Hussain Shah's family as relief from the Assam government, and he also expects to meet Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha in Srinagar. A 22-year-old law student and a social media influencer from Gurugram, Sharmishta Panoli, was arrested by Kolkata police and sent to 14 days of judicial custody by a court over an alleged objectionable social media post. The NDA allies are hitting out against the Mamata government for targeting the influencer, with the BJP pointing out TMC's selective blindness to the hate spewed by some of its own leaders. BJP ally and Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan has also waded into the matter. Zepto's food license will end. Maharashtra Food and Drug Administration suspends food business license of Zepto parent Kirana Cart Technologies after finding lapses at its Dharavi facility in Mumbai. FDA said that certain food items stored in the Dharavi dark store had fungus growing on them, with red flags raised on poor hygiene conditions. Zepto says it is committed to rectifying the lapses. Will this apology be enough for Zepto to avoid citizen backlash? Ukraine claims to have struck more than 40 Russian strategic bombers in what is believed to be one of its most audacious strikes to date. As per reports, Ukraine has struck as deep as 4,000 kilometers inside Russian territory, all the way in Irkutsk. Intelligence officers in Ukraine say they have struck a large chunk of Russia's strategic A-50, Tu-95 and Tu-22 strategic bomber fleets. And finally, the Saudi foreign minister hit out at Israel for their refusal to allow the Arab foreign ministers to enter the West Bank. The Saudi minister said not allowing the Arab countries shows Israel's refusal of any serious attempt toward the path of peace. Several Arab nations, including Jordan and Saudi Arabia, were seeking Israel's permission to visit the West Bank to meet the Palestinian president. Tel Aviv denied all these requests. Well, welcome back, friends. As India stands at a critical inflection point in its democratic journey, the 11-year milestone of the Narendra Modi-led BJP government or NDA government offers more than just a moment of celebration. It opens a window into the political, ideological and developmental blueprint shaping the nation's future. From a decisive break with coalition-era politics in 2014 to an era of assertive leadership and centralized governance, the Modi years have marked a transformation in how power is exercised and perceived. The government now turns its gaze to 2047, the centenary of India's independence, as both a destination and a mission. But while the BJP projects continuity, stability and ambition, its critics raise alarms over democratic backsliding and the narrowing space for dissent. In the run-up to June 9th and beyond, as political messaging collides with public sentiment, we explore how 11 years of uninterrupted power are being spun into a forward-looking movement, one that seeks to shape not just electoral outcomes, but the very architecture of India's politics and indeed India's future. Take a look.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा.
Ending decades of coalition rule and signaling a resounding rejection of the Congress-led UPA government, the Bharatiya Janata Party, once on the fringes of national power, surged to the centre with a sweeping mandate. And at the heart of this political storm, one man, Narendra Damodar Das Modi. The man who came to define a new era of Indian politics. A leader whose governance model is rooted in growth, transformation and a strategic projection of strength. And Bharat, as it stands today, is emerging as a global power, asserting its position on the world stage while laying the groundwork for its long-term vision.
एक तो हमारा लक्ष्य है 2047. हिंदुस्तान विकसित होना ही चाहिए. नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज. आजादी के 100 साल हम ऐसे ही नहीं बिताएंगे. आजादी के 100 साल ऐसे मनाएंगे, ऐसे बनाएंगे कि दुनिया में विकसित भारत का झंडा फहरता होगा.
Sankalp se Siddhi. From resolve to realization. The BJP's governance presented as a movement and politics framed as mission. Across press rooms, village squares, professional circles and digital spaces. The BJP is not just telling its story, it may be reinforcing its claim to the future. As the Modi government marks 11 years in office, the BJP is poised to transform celebration into strategy. A meticulously choreographed outreach drive spanning India's heartlands, panning out over the coming week. This multi-pronged campaign blends the optics of governance with the energy of a movement. From policy dialogues with professionals in urban centres to welfare registration camps in remote districts. The message is clear: no citizen untouched, no corner of Bharat unseen. With Vistar, Vishwas, Vikas as its pulse, the BJP strategy pivots on expansion, trust and development. A series of curated events, from digital content competitions to Yoga Day mega programming, aims to animate public participation and deepen ideological resonance. All in all, everything that screams to the world the power of Naya Bharat. In a world where misinformation moves with viral velocity, the BJP is rolling out a coordinated fact-checking initiative statewide in scale and strategic intent. Dedicated teams will monitor digital platforms, flag misleading content, and issue real-time rebuttals through official channels and influencer networks. But beneath the commemorative tone lies a deeper calculation, a rehearsal for Mission 2047. For the BJP, the anniversary is more than a retrospective. It's a projection of intent, machinery and momentum. A projection of India's Atmanirbhar mission. A projection of independent rising in every sector. Defense, health, agriculture, industry, transportation and more. As India gears up for June 9th, this is how experts read the last 11 years of the Narendra Modi-led BJP government.
So when we look at 11 years, starting 14, I think he became a prime minister much before when he took the oath. So he was talking like a prime minister, he was setting the narrative here and there, and it was almost known that he's going to become a prime minister.
Politically, I see Congress has no future in Indian politics. The emergence of regional parties like Arvind Kejriwal, Aam Aadmi Party, all of them have gone out of the picture.
11 years in uninterrupted power is not just a political milestone. It is a rare moment in India's democratic arc. For a single party to retain public trust across 3 Lok Sabha mandates and now seeking a 4th underscores a narrative converge in the Indian imagination. For India's political landscape, the 11th anniversary isn't just about longevity of a government, it's about the evolution of a governance model. But amid the orchestrated celebrations and calibrated messaging, a counterpoint emerges. The BJP's naysayers call it an era of undeclared emergency. From institutional erosion to shrinking space for dissent, the opposition has painted a starkly different portrait of the past decade. Citing concerns over democratic backsliding, the opposition accuses the Modi government of weakening constitutional bodies, stifling media freedom, and centralizing power. 11 years, it says, of majoritarian assertion wrapped in electoral legitimacy. Critics present a contrasting opinion.
Today it is 100% FDI, it is multinationals, it is American companies. So, I mean, a lot has changed in the last 11 years. I think this Sangh has also changed probably. And the Sangh which said कि हमारे लोग तो साहब थैला लेके चलते हैं और सेवा करते हैं, अब वो liaising करते हैं सरकार के साथ बैठ करके. So things have really changed.
Everything's changed, in terms of governance that you asked. The speed, the vision, the programs, the slow pace approach was buried. Though I must admit that, he has been changing the narrative, changing the template of the development and governance many times. That is one of the criticism. So I think the Modi regime setup is very good at, propaganda, publicity and everything. So on information war, if they always win it this way or the other.
As India accelerates into a future shaped by speed, ambition and scale, 2 possibilities lie ahead. 1. that envisions continued transformation of infrastructure, institutions, and global influence. The other that warns of a path where power, if unchecked, could challenge the very balance that sustains democracy. As India moves beyond 2025, its political landscape stands at a crossroads. With the BJP shaping a new vision for governance, the role of the opposition and of dissent itself enters a new phase. The question now is not just who holds power, but how that power engages with a rapidly evolving, more vocal citizenry.
All right, let's see how this comprehensive ground report is seen by the BJP itself. Joining me, the national leader, Nalin Kohli. Welcome, Nalin. And, this kind of blitz that BJP is planning to hold to mark its 11 years in power, some would say it's an overkill.
In no ways it's an overkill. I think, Abhishek, people have reposed faith in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi on 3 occasions. With great hope in 2014, an assessment of the good work done, and then giving them a second opportunity to serve the people in 2019, and then repeating it in 2024. Therefore, it is our duty to take before the people what all work the government has done under his leadership, what are the things that we plan to do in the near future, and inform them. And if we are doing it directly, going to the people and doing so, that's something to be appreciated because that's part of participative democracy. So I don't think it's an overkill. It's part of the service of reaching out to the people who have voted for us to inform them personally about the developments and the plans ahead.
Right. And Nalin, one more feedback that we got while doing this report from the ground was that the BJP, on the one hand, is struggling, for example, getting its president, the new president, and on the other, has all the time to really get going with these comprehensive events which span from the national capital right down to village panchayat level.
I would disagree completely with that almost funny comparison that whoever on the ground told you so, Abhishek. Why is the BJP struggling, as the word you used, to find its president? Someone will be the president, it will be a karyakarta of the party, and it won't be someone from a special family. That's a given. And in that process, would have probably got culminated earlier. But then we've just come out of Operation Sindoor. Everyone was busy there. It's a consultative process. So therefore, the priority is always the nation first, then the party, then us last, as people. So that will get done. I don't see any dichotomy. I don't see any concern. And I think our political opponents are possibly hoping for what is no way connected to the ground reality or the truth.
All right. And another criticism, and I want to be really focusing on that before I move on to other stuff, is that over the last 11 years, Nalin, the kind of consolidation of power that has happened behind the BJP and with the BJP, from the national capital down to state level, the criticism is that the BJP has sort of monopolized political power. I mean, it has excluded the opposition completely in terms of not giving them space to grow in any manner. I mean, you can take it as a backhanded compliment, but then if you look at it from democracy's point of view, it's a criticism also.
So then if I would, and if you would permit me, Abhishek, it brings up a very interesting corollary. So is the opposition party expecting the BJP to help them win seats when the people of India are rejecting them? I mean, that would make it really, really interesting. So what are we supposed to do now? Stop putting up candidates so that some opposition leaders can win? That is an impossibility in democracy. It's participative. People decide who they want, and that's what people are doing. And if the opposition parties are unable to rise to that occasion, present themselves with a credible agenda, why would people vote for them? Look at the criticism of Operation Sindoor by the Congress party. Look how they mocked the surgical strike. Look how they mocked Balkot and asked for evidence. They don't believe the army. They don't believe the government. They have a criticism for everything. They make an issue of everything. They made an issue of Rafale. They made an issue of Pegasus. Everything went to the Supreme Court. Everything was decided by the Supreme Court. Nothing came in their favor, so they criticized the Supreme Court. That cannot be the basis of democracy. They must show something that resonates with the people, not just an agenda of anti-Modiism.
All right, last question to you, Nalin, before I let you go, which is that the kind of communication blitz that the party is carrying out perhaps is a sort of this understanding that maybe this communication was missing, say during the general elections, because of which the party lost some seats. So in that sense, BJP is course correcting and carrying out this massive communication, executing this massive communication plan over the next 1 week.
Well, that would have been technically correct. That would have been technically correct. That would have been, I'm sorry, I lost you. So that would have been technically correct. Had we not done these exercises in the past? I remember doing it last year when 10 years was complete. The year before that. So it's been an ongoing process. I don't think it is the BJP trying to make up on any lost ground. This is how we are. This is how we've always been.
All right. Thank you so much. Nalin Kohli, the senior BJP leader, joining us live on the BJP's plans to communicate to the masses how it has worked over the last 11 years with the Modi government in charge in New Delhi. Thanks. Thanks, Nalin.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Israel and Hamas conflict has been ongoing for over 600 days now. With no ceasefire in sight, US's special envoy and Trump's right-hand man, Steve Witkoff, earlier this week presented a 60-day ceasefire plan to both the sides that perhaps showed some signs of light at the end of the tunnel. While Prime Minister Netanyahu, who's facing headwinds back home, immediately agreed to the plan that would secure the release of at least 10 hostages, Hamas, while initially agreeing to the deal, is now making some last-minute demands. Is Hamas overplaying its hand? Is this the right path towards a long-lasting peace? Will we see any substantial progress on the Israel-Hamas war front this coming week in the backdrop of this Witkoff plan? This next report looks forward to just that.
603 days since Israel's war on Hamas began in Gaza. The war has seen only 65 days of scattered ceasefires. So far, 148 hostages of the 251 captured by Hamas on October 7th have returned alive. 44 others couldn't see that day. While the fate of 59 others hangs in the balance. It all started at 6:30 a.m. on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas fired over 4,300 rockets and sent over 2,700 terrorists into southern Israel, attacking over 20 communities, slaughtering more than 1,200 Israelis, including 300 soldiers, in what is believed to be one of the deadliest days in Israel's history since 1948.
From day one, or the early days of the war, we decided on a policy. We are going after Hamas. We're not going after the civilian population.
More than 12 attempts have been made in the last 2 years to broker a ceasefire, while the first one in November of 2023 yielded in the release of 105 hostages. Since December of 2023, the proposals have seen limited progress. Throughout the first half of 2024 up until May, a three-phase truce was proposed. However, sometimes it was the Israelis who backed out or the Hamas that refused to comply. However, since December of 2024, the peace proposals took a different turn.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
And in January 2025, there was a breakthrough. In January 2025, after 467 days of captivity, a US-backed deal brokered in Doha brought hope. More than 33 hostages were freed in exchange of Palestinian prisoners, an increased aid, and a partial withdrawal, with more than 2 stages slated to facilitate more releases and end to Israeli operation. However, it all came undone in March of 2025.
Hamas is responsible for this war. It invaded our towns, murdered our people, raped our women, and kidnapped our loved ones. Hamas refused offer after offer to release our hostages. In the past 2 weeks, Israel did not initiate any military action in the hope that Hamas would change course. Well, that didn't happen. While Israel accepted the offer of President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, Hamas flatly refused to do so. And this is why I authorized yesterday the renewal of military action against Hamas.
The progress fell apart in March, despite US's best efforts to secure Trump's unifier-in-chief aspirations, and his close aide Stephen Witkoff set to achieve this glory for the commander-in-chief.
We have Mr. Witkoff is here, who's doing a phenomenal job, is dealing with them very strongly right now. They seem to want to do something, but until the document is signed, I can't tell you.
US's ambitions for Gaza are bizarre, to say the least.
We're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back.
The US is attempting to make the ceasefire more about themselves and less about Israel or Palestine.
But this feels like I'm doing something bigger than myself, on behalf of something that has nothing to do with you, with me. This is not your children are not my children, but now I've made them my children.
Meanwhile, all the international community could do was condemn Israel a little more.
Mr. Speaker, over the weekend we coordinated a response with our allies, as set out in my statement with President Macron and Prime Minister Carney last night. We repeat our demand for a ceasefire as the only way to free the hostages.
However, no one has been able to prevail on Benjamin Netanyahu.
I say to President Macron, Prime Minister Carney, and Prime Minister Starmer, when mass murderers, rapists, baby killers, and kidnappers thank you, you're on the wrong side of justice. You're on the wrong side of humanity. And you're on the wrong side of history.
The Israeli people are losing their patience. Families of hostages are eagerly waiting for their return.
I put a lot of my hopes in the fact that ceasefire is in negotiation again, that the option of hostages coming back home is approaching. But I am worried that not all of the hostages are in this deal, and I hope that with the help of the American government, we can ensure a full return of all of the hostages back home. I don't really know how long it will take. If you ask me what my heart desire, then I wish for them to come back home almost 600 days ago. I just want my cousin to come back home, and I want all of the other hostages to be here as fast as possible.
All eyes are on the United States and whether they can make a breakthrough. And the prayers of protesters are slowly being answered. Just 3 days ago, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that a new ceasefire deal proposed by the United States has been accepted by his government. The ball was now in Hamas's court. And while all eyes were on Rafah and Gaza to seek Hamas's response, the terror outfit has in principle accepted the deal, but with some conditions. Conditions that seem untenable from the US and Israeli position. The last 48 hours have been extremely tense. While the US has firmly rejected Hamas's conditions, the fate of another ceasefire deal now hangs in the balance. Has Hamas made a mistake by not accepting the 60-day truce? Will this give Netanyahu more legitimacy to escalate his operation? Will the United States succeed in its effort to find mediation and a permanent solution? The answer to all these questions is something that we look forward to this week.
We're succeeding the mission.
and we're going to complete it. We're not going anywhere.
All right, seems like a very practical plan yet not happening. Joins me Madhav Nalapat, geostrategic affairs expert. Very good evening to you, Mr. Nalapat. How do you see, I mean, you would have watched this comprehensive report prepared by us on the ceasefire plan, but it's really not working out.
It's not going to work out unless Hamas accepts the fact that its military wing is effectively over. Netanyahu will not stop until he has demolished the military capability of Hamas for all time to come. The fact is, the October 7 attack was the worst mistake made by Hamas, an existential mistake, because it reminded the Jewish people of the very terrible things that happened to them in the previous century. And that was his big mistake. And now, as I said, Netanyahu, I don't believe, is going to stop until the military wing is completely eliminated. If Hamas was smart, it would do that. It's ask for its leaders safe passage, eliminate its military wing, surrender its weapons, surrender all the hostages. It's disgusting that these hostages are being kept, and heaven knows how many of them have lasted through this long ordeal. So, but Hamas, that's a smart thing for Hamas to do, and the only way Hamas as an organization can survive, and the only way the people of Gaza can be liberated from the torture that they're experiencing after a terror attack. The problem is, Hamas cares nothing for the people of Gaza. All it cares for is, frankly, its military wing.
Yeah.
All it cares for is elimination of Israel, and frankly, the elimination of the Jewish people.
I mean, I don't think they have the wherewithal left, Mr. Nalapat, to even contemplate that. But it's little painful to see the kind of deliberations that have happened over the last 48 hours. No, we will not release 20 hostages, we will release 10. I mean, this is absolutely a non-starter of a conversation that Hamas has been trying to throw on the Americans more than Israelis, in fact.
Look, the military wing controls Hamas, not anything else. And the reality is, the military wing does not want its elimination. But the fact of the matter is, the military wing committed the mistake of its life when it went ahead with that terror attack October 7th, so many years ago. And the reality is that it does not understand that. The military wing is continuing to try and survive. I'm sorry, but Netanyahu is not going to allow it to. And frankly, from the Israeli point of view, nor should he allow it to. There's no question about that. Hamas, Hezbollah, IRGC, all three have miscalculated the resolve of Israel, and all three have calculated the extent to which President Trump is willing to go to ensure that Israel is protected. He's doing a lot for that, much more, I think, than Biden ever would have.
But also, you know, there is the other side, Mr. Nalapat, which is that while Israel says that, okay, fine, we agree for the Witkoff plan and let the Hamas come back and then we go forward. The fact of the matter is that this is the same week in which Israel has doubled down on its ground offensive in Gaza. They have gone into further areas which they had not touched, or maybe they are revisiting. So which means that Hamas can always say that, see, there is no proof that Israel is going to back off. And that's the reason why they are putting those conditions.
Look, Hamas thought that with so many hostages, it will be spared the kind of retaliation that's now taking place. That was a huge strategic error by Hamas. And frankly, as you correctly said, the people of Gaza are paying the price. Because whether it is the question of Gaza, whether it's a question of Lebanon, and I mean, they're paying the price. Israel is moving in many directions. It is blocking access to arms into Gaza and into Lebanon. It was coming through Syria. I have no idea if that new setup in Syria has anything to do with the toppling of a very corrupt Assad regime, with frankly a terror regime. But I don't know. Who all are responsible besides Turkey and the obvious culprits. But I want to say very clearly that this is then the end game for the military wing, and sadly, it will involve a lot of quote-unquote collateral damage, and I fear that is going to be the situation, because as I said before, the military wing controls Hamas, and the military wing wants somehow to survive, and it believes that the hostages are the only card it has. Frankly, it is disgusting the whole world with its attitude. It should surrender the hostages immediately, all of them. Getting them, going into that terror attack was a huge mistake.
Right.
The quicker it surrenders, the better, but I don't see that happening, frankly.
In which case, Mr. Nalapat, are the Americans really playing around for headlines? Because if the Hamas is not ready, the Israelis absolutely not, then what was the ceasefire announcement about? Like they have done in the case of India, Pakistan, is it just being done to sort of beef up this Trump constituency on ceasefires worldwide? They're succeeding nowhere but continue to claim otherwise.
Look, in the case of India and Pakistan, the Pakistan liaison officer with the military and the Indian liaison officer with the military, they came together and the Pakistanis asked for a cease, and Prime Minister Modi agreed to that on the grounds of humanitarianism, and frankly, he has made it very clear it's a pause. And should there be another terror attack in India, and India has got the necessary expertise and technical skill to ensure that it knows where it is coming from, then the response is going to be all-out war. He will not stop. So this is what's happening here between Israel and Hamas is frankly no ceasefire at all. And so I don't know what the basis is of Mr. Witkoff's optimism, but I think in my view, a ceasefire is very, very unlikely. Netanyahu is not going to stop until he has destroyed the military wing, and the military wing is going to cling to, whatever cards it has, and it regards the hostages the only card, frankly, which is true. And as a consequence, the people of Gaza will again go through a period of absolute agony.
Yeah.
Those who are not connected with Hamas and its military wing.
In fact, Mr. Nalapat, just as late as 4 days back when Israel took out Mohammed Sinwar, the brother of Yahya Sinwar, effectively the chief of military wing now, but he's gone now, Israel said that they are not going to stop till they completely eliminate the Hamas leadership, and according to them, they are just halfway through. They have a list of about 30, 33. They are down by 15, 16, which means by any account, this is not ending anytime soon.
Well, I agree with you, Abhishek. It's not ending anytime soon. It will end when the military wing of Hamas ends and not before, howsoever long that takes. Netanyahu as long as he's the Prime Minister, he's not going to stop until the military wing is completely eliminated, and Hamas should realize that it has no cards left. Its only hope for survival is the surrender of the military wing, and frankly, handing over of all the hostages. I doubt they're going to do that. But the point is, I don't know. I'm very sad at what's happening to the people of Gaza, but unfortunately, it's a tragedy I don't believe will be stopped in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely, it's painful. And the fact that it might have begun with Americans trying to play with the headlines, ultimately the Hamas and Israelis coming together in their own ways to play around with the Americans. And that's where it seems to be heading. Not likely that ceasefire is going to happen this coming week. And that's what we wanted to explore. Thank you so much, Madhav Nalapadher, giving us that perspective. Moving on, friends, India remains the fastest growing major economy in the world, as the GDP numbers released Friday showed. Inflation remains in control, and the GST collections show continued buoyancy, month after month, coming at over 2 lakh crores. It is in this backdrop that the Reserve Bank of India is all set to deliberate next round of rate cuts during its bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting this week. Let's look ahead at the possibilities and expectations. And then I have markets expert Ajay Bagga joining me on the other side.
The MPC voted unanimously to reduce the policy repo rate by 25 basis points to 6% with immediate effect. Consequently, the standing deposit facility, the SDF rate under the liquidity adjustment facility shall stand adjusted to 5.75%.
With this announcement in its last monetary policy in the month of April, Reserve Bank of India, the money manager to the central government, signalled a benign rate environment, suggesting the nation's economy was doing well and could rev up the growth curve with some more money supply. The markets reacted with a hurrah, and then there was a thumbs up from the man on the streets.
It's good that government is reducing the home loans, and middle class can buy home and car and education. It's good for us. Yeah, we can make big things from this.
Now, as the RBI Monetary Policy Committee, up for another round of cuts with experts weighing in, meets again on June 4th for its bi-monthly review of the economy, the expectations are building.
So RBI will definitely go for rate cuts because we really need a credit growth push, which has been a multi-year low at around 12%. But that said, I think what RBI might do is go for gradual rate cuts rather than going for too aggressive rate cuts. It has already gone for 2 rate cuts subsequent in successive MPC meetings. It will probably factor in a couple of variables. One is the rainfall. We are already expecting above normal rainfall this year, but it will still try to monitor how it kind of pans out in terms of distribution. Second, it will try to see how it impacts the inflation.
And she believes that the rate cut cycle might go on in the upcoming months too.
I think it will probably go with 25 rate cuts 2 more times this fiscal year. This calendar year, sorry.
What a rate cut does is bring down the borrowing cost for the people and industry alike, injecting growth-stimulating economic activity.
We as a middle class of this country will have a little more to save because that will take down our home loans and all other loans that we have taken. So as a middle class woman, that will also make sure that I can buy more stuff for my kitchen, and not only that, I think I can save a little. I can also invest my money so that in 20-30 years when I retire, I have more money and more luxury in life.
The expectations of a rate cut is even enthusing youngsters like this one.
Not everybody can afford a 2 or 3 CR home. प्लस अगर रेट कम हो जाते हैं, प्लस अगर इन्फ्लेशन रेट्स कम हो जाते हैं एंड सब कुछ अफोर्डेबल हो जाता है, तो इट्स गोना बी सुपर बेनिफिशियल जो उनके घर का बजट होता है. एज यू नो, जो होम मेकर्स होती हैं उनको ऑलरेडी अपना बजट प्लान करने में कितनी डिफ़िकल्टीज़ होती है. एट द सेम टाइम not only budget, need and wants दोनों चीज़ को balance करना is quite important. I think it's a good move as India is already being a 4 trillion economy. So it's good कि अगर India finally middle class family के लिए कुछ सोच रहा है.
Then there are those who caution about reading too much of happy news. Professor Santosh Mehrotra, a familiar economist on Republic TV debates, had to say this.
An economy cannot be driven by the top 10 to 20% of the population, which is what is in fact happening. And that's what's being essentially shown up by the K-shaped recovery. So there is a scope for reduction of the interest rate, and maybe it will increase in private investment, and maybe it will not. But every effort has to be made.
Mehrotra also believes that even as RBI continues to do its job of reading the tea leaves of the economy, the government needs to do more.
There is desperate need for creation of jobs, for investment to rise, for private investment in particular to rise, and I think the government needs to enable that to happen.
Now, taken together, it is clear that while RBI continues with its rate cuts, people on the streets and experts alike understand the benefits of an upcycle in the economy that the resultant money supply can bring over to the Monetary Policy Committee on June 4th.
All right, joining us, markets expert and investment guru Ajay Bagga. Welcome, Mr. Bagga. And, fourth largest economy, GDP growth on track, fiscal deficit in control, and the food prices really look good, inflation also in check. Are you also on the side of those who expect another round of rate cut from the RBI?
Definitely. To add to all the positives that you mentioned, Abhishek, I think the fall in commodity prices, be it coking coal and especially oil, which is one of our biggest imports, $130 billion worth of crude oil we are importing every year. That against the budgeted number of $75 per barrel, we are running at about 60 to 65. So it's been a good start to the year. It creates more monetary space for the RBI because they have some relief on the external front. They have a lot of relief on the domestic front. Inflation well in control, GDP growing well. That allows them space now to cut once more. I am expecting a rate cut next week. In June policy, and then again in August. And after that, we'll come back to you with our assessment. But I think these two rate cuts are very much on the anvil.
But, Bagga, if that be the case, that would be, two back-to-back rate cuts, which is indicative of a long-term easing cycle. And then the question arises, the holy grail of Indian economy, the private capital or the missing private capital. You think that with this long-term easing cycle, finally the government can expect that the private capital would also come in? Investment cycle would pick up?
Private capital is a follower. And right now with the output gap in the economy, what that means is that if the economy can produce 100 goods per day, we are producing about 78 to 79. So when your factories are not running on full capacity already, it's very difficult for us to see private capex. That's a broad brush. There will be segments, there'll be sectors, there'll be local issues, geographical issues, some subsidy coming in. But broad brush, private capex, I think still about 6 to 9 months away. But the rate cut will help a lot. So what is working for the Indian economy right now? Government infrastructure spending, that's very strong. The personal consumption is good. Rural demand has been growing pretty well. Urban demand is expected to catch up by the end of the year. And the third one is on the exports front, where on services we are doing very well. Goods are being constrained by the overall global trade war. You can't blame them much, but we are holding our own so far, which is also commendable. And the fourth big pillar of the economy normally is private capex. That's a follower. I think that's 6 to 9 months away. But we are expecting a lot from the manufacturing policy, which the government is about to unfold. I think over the next 15 days, we will get to see the contours of that.
Yeah.
So within manufacturing specific subsidy and PLI kind of schemes come in, you could see capex going up.
And Mr. Bagga, then taken together, cheaper home loans, cheaper credit, janta ke liye kya? I mean, what can people expect out of this then, going forward?
See, borrowers will get a fillip because rates will go down. Rates which are immediately linked to the EBLR or MCLR, those will start coming down. Corporates will demand lower rates. Bank margins will take about a 5 basis point hit, not too much. The deposit rates will come down. So for savers, that's the bad news, that deposit rates will come down. So if you have some money and you can lock it in, then lock it in before the policy is announced on Friday. But because more or less definitely rates are coming down. What the benefit comes is with the lower rates, the money velocity increases, the economy picks up. It's a big stimulus into the economy. So on such a large economy, you mentioned fourth largest in the world, on $4 trillion, you're giving a boost by cutting rates. That monetary stimulus increases the momentum. So everybody benefits, more jobs are created, better profits for companies, and overall the money starts rotating faster in the economy. Feel-good factor comes in. And as the discount rate goes down, your stock markets also tend to outperform.
Like you mentioned feel-good, Mr. Bagga, before I let you go. Some say that it is the fourth largest economy, but does not feel like that. Why so?
See, again, we are, if you look at historically, where are we? This was US in 1985 was 4 trillion, China in 2007, Japan in 1993, Germany in 2021 crossed 4 trillion. So apart from Germany, we are like 40 years, 18 years, 41 years behind 31 years behind other economies. So still a lot of time has to be spent in gaining more, taking this economy higher and increasing the distributable surplus so that your per capita also increases. What is going for us? Yeah. We are at a 29 years average age. US is 38 with all the immigration, they are 38. Yeah. China is 46. Japan is 53, Germany is 48. Right. So where are the workers in the world? It's Africa or India or the Middle East. These are the three big places where there are very young populations. Right. So that growth from 4 to 10 trillion as we grow, and you grow 6,000-7,000 becomes your per capita with a substantial 100 million odd population earning $20,000. Then it just takes off. We are just sitting right before that. I think next 5 years, you will see that. I'll give you one small, number. 10 years back, all banks put together in India were making 25,000 crores profit. This year, that March ended year, we have made 3,71,000 crores profit. See the order of magnitude change that's happening. So we have to wait the next 5-10 years. You will see that feel good coming across segments as well.
So Indian economy ready to fire on all cylinders, and hopefully, as expected by experts, including Mr. Bagga, the RBI will put in that injection of liquidity with this. We come to an end of this edition of Looking Forward. Friends, tomorrow 8 p.m. Super Prime Time. Max, be there to join Arnab Goswami. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental question. $20 billion, not 20 million, a lot, not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about. Nobody's been able to find it. $8 million for making mice transgender. So they spend $8 million on making mice transgender. And those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that, but we have other things to do. So it's much, much more than just that.
Summer is here. Is your home ready for the heat? Keep your roof cool and your home comfortable all summer with Roof Cool and Seal. पसीना मत बहाओ, बर्जर रूफ कूल एंड सील लगाओ।
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते।
Sir, fans है शोर तो करेंगे ही ना?
नए वाले नहीं करते। And they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
Silly me, I thought.
Cricket fans.
Feeling good. Look good. You look good. Well, the prognosis is good. You know, we're working on everything. It's moving along. I feel good.
Have you decided on your treatment options?
Yeah, we have. We're underway, and all the folks are very optimistic.
And so you've started treatment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would you be willing to share what exactly that entails?
It's all a matter of taking a pill, one particular pill. And for the next 6 weeks, and then another one. And the expectation is we're going to be able to beat this. It's not in any organ. It's my bones are strong. I haven't been.
दीदी, मेरी बात सुन लो। आपका समय अब समाप्त हो गया है। 26 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah leads BJP's election battle in West Bengal, says BJP will come to power with a massive mandate in Bengal in 2026.
मुर्शिदाबाद में अभी हिंसा हुई। बंगाल सरकार के मंत्री इस दंगों में शामिल थे। ये स्टेट स्पॉन्सर दंगा था जिन्होंने हिंदुओं को अन्याय किया है।
Amit Shah launches a blistering attack on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, says Hindus targeted in West Bengal, whereas Mamata is involved in vote bank politics. Heavy rains have triggered flash floods and landslides in Assam, Manipur, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. What we're learning is that at least 22 people have lost their lives. Rescue operation is underway. In a major crackdown on ISI-backed terror networks, Amritsar police has dismantled a terror and extortion module linked to the outfit Babbar Khalsa International. Ukraine drones have attacked more than 40 Russian bomber planes, claims Ukrainian security services. Well, we're starting the bulletin with the breaking news that is coming from Ukraine. Their drones have struck deep inside Russian territory, targeting air bases and destroying more than 40 military aircrafts, is what we're learning. A security official there has confirmed that the attack, saying that the operation, in fact, involved drones transported secretly in containers by trucks, allowing them to reach airfields as far as 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine. Now, Russia has said, and I quote, "Today, the Kyiv regime carried out a terrorist attack using FPV drones against airfields in Russia." So this is a news that is coming from Ukraine. This is in fact a blow to Russia's air fleet. What we are learning, Ukraine claims that they have attacked the airbase of Russia. They have destroyed as many as 40 aircrafts of Russia. On the other hand, Russia has now confirmed the damages. They have said that there was a terror attack by Ukraine. So this is as far as the escalation in Russia as well as Ukraine war is concerned. Both sides are in fact saying this, and this most importantly comes a day before the crucial talks between the two countries which are to be held in Istanbul. So a day before that, on the eve of those talks, we are witnessing that Russia is in fact, it has also confirmed the damages. It has said that there has been a terror attack by Ukraine. Ukraine says that they have attacked Russia's air fleet. Well, I'm joined by Dr. Sergey Voronov, who's the president of Amicability, and also Ola Vorozibit, who's the journalist based in Ukraine. Thank you for speaking to Republic TV. I would go firstly across to Ola. I want to ask you, now this is happening on the eve of the crucial talks tomorrow between Ukraine and Russia. So now the question arrives is, why on this specific eve has this attack been done by Ukraine?
Well, this is indeed a remarkable operation by Ukrainian special forces. And what had happened, so the over 40 Russian strategic bombers were probably struck by these Ukrainian drones in Russia. And these are exactly those strategic bombers that are bombing Ukrainian civilians every day. Just today in Kyiv, we had over 9 hours of air alert, and Ukraine was also attacked by Ukrainian civilians. This is one of the important thing. We're attacked by Russian drones and also missiles, ballistic missiles. And actually, this is Russia that is escalating over these days before the negotiations. As we, if you were probably following, so previously the number of Russian drones that were attacking Ukraine, and once more, I'd like to underline, Ukrainian civilians were really the biggest in numbers. Now, attacking these strategic bombers will mean that we will probably have less of Russian attacks on Ukraine. And as Russia shows also before tomorrow's negotiations, that they understand only the language of power. So this is the answer, the card. Or I would say the biggest David versus Goliath moment during this war, because I would just frankly, this is the moment that may change the turn of the war. Exactly.
Absolutely. Dr. Sergey, I want to ask you one question. Now, Russia has confirmed the damages. They have called this a terrorist attack. I want to understand from you, from what you're learning, what is the scale of total loss?
Yes, it was just a terrorist attack because we can see and everybody can understand that Ukrainian army cannot achieve success on the battlefield. And this is just a step of a proxy war that will not fundamentally change the course of events, and it will not change, of course, the position of Russian Federation during the Istanbul discussion in Istanbul regarding peace and future of Ukraine. Of course, it's very painful because war is always bring some pain to the nations, both nations. But for my opinion, we can see that this proxy war, actually Ukraine government, they have a lot of very profound advisors from Europe, especially from Great Britain, who can consult them how to do this proxy war. And of course, our position is very open. We only want to bring the justice to the relationships with our countries, want to support our Russian-speaking population, want to actually to make the peace on the dharmic level, we follow to dharma, some moral principles. That's why for us it's painful, but it cannot change the course of all events.
So, Ms. Ola, you just heard Mr. Sergey. He said that Russia wants peace, and that is everything that they want. How would you respond to this claim?
Look, Russia wants peace, but it attacked Ukraine. It was Russia who first attacked Ukraine and came to us with a full-scale invasion and also with the war in the Donbass. It was Russia which occupied Crimea, and all of these were Russian language of peace. That's really striking to hear this. Actually, Russia during this war, it ruined just some of the towns in the Donbass, Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which were mainly Russian-speaking, yes, and they are now totally moved to rubbish because of Russian attacks. So listening about the proxy war is also, frankly, it's funny because what Ukraine used even during this operation, yes, these were homemade drones, actually worth, I don't know, 300 or so. And this was the answer that Ukraine finally come out in the years of war when we were asking for the help, yes, from the other democratic states and defending our country. So sorry, but what Doctor said is just like it's funny, but I wouldn't love. I can say this is a bullshit, frankly, because like my friend's flat in Odessa was attacked by Russian missiles and also by Russian drones. Odessa, which is partially Russian speaking. So what are you talking about? This is I don't know why you are talking this. And why you don't feel any feeling of, I don't know, shame while talking to me and during this speech.
Well, you see, what is important to point here is that this is happening a day before the crucial talks between the two countries. So, Dr. Sergey, I want to ask you, don't you think this would derail the talks between the two countries? How would this pan out tomorrow?
Yes, first of all, I will just slightly respond to my colleague. Of course, her speech was very emotional because she has some mental vision and of all these historical events which happened between our countries. But I would like to advise to all colleagues from Republic TV and to all audience very carefully listen and carefully to research interview of our national leader Vladimir Putin to the famous for me is number one journalist from United States, Mr. Carlson. And during this 2 hours interview, our national leader very, very historically, very carefully explained what happened between Ukraine and Russia, how was going on, how the collective East brings this conflict, this deep conflict, especially to destroy our country. And come again to the facts, we should not be so emotional about shame. Of course, I cannot feel shame. I feel only pain because war is always a very dramatic feel. But come again to the Pakistan and India conflict. We know that because of the policy of Great Britain, they destroyed India, Emperor of India, to the different countries. That's why, and they artificially create this kind of conflicts. The same, they create conflict between two brother countries, between Ukraine and Russia. And I am absolutely sure, like Russian religious philosophers, that in close future, everybody will be open. All the secrets will be open. And of course, will bring peace. But will peace, again, I want to repeat this, we will bring peace on the dharmic level. We should follow to the dharma, we should follow to the justice, to all the moral values. Because only real believer, like our national leader, Vladimir Putin, can bring real peace, not artificial, but real peace between our countries. And regarding our conversation in Istanbul, you can see our representative and advisor of Vladimir Putin, Mr. Vladimir Medinsky, he he mentioned about a lot of historical examples of the even famous British and Germany experts and politicians, how they can understand the spirit of Russia, of Russian civilization. We're a very ancient civilization. We're not just a new country, yes? And we always support all small nations around all the world. We always support culture and tradition. We're givers. Actually, frankly speaking, we're givers. That's why Vladimir Beninsky was very expert, very honest during conversation. And I hope again we'll repeat the same experience. We'll educate representative from Ukraine how to bring real peace between two our brother countries.
Claims,
I don't want to be
Dr.
educated.
Sergey, in fact, claims
Sorry,
that
no one
only
needs
Putin
to
can
educate
bring
me.
the real peace.
This
How
is
would you
really,
like to
sorry,
respond
but
to this,
inappropriate.
Ola?
Yes, sorry.
I'm asking you, Dr. Sergey says that only Putin can bring real peace. How would you respond to this?
Look, we are experiencing what Putin makes and all his steps for more than 10 years, and in full-scale war for almost for over 3 years. So this does not look, and you don't need to be any expert or anyone to see that it doesn't look like bringing peace. It looks like making war and trying to ruin Ukraine as a country, the country with Kyiv as its capital, which was founded much earlier than Russia itself. And you can also research what was on the place of Moscow when Kyiv was a prosperous state, well, a prosperous city. But I don't want to refer to that because neither me nor Vladimir Putin are historians. And if you want to read history, you will find history books which say that what Vladimir Putin said was but once more bullshit. The other thing concerning bringing peace to Ukraine. Peace will come, but it seems that once more, Russia understands the language of war because what they do, they may actually war. Ukraine is open for negotiations, and we were not doing, so we are talking about the operation where Ukraine had finally strategic superiority at that moment. But previous days, this was Russia, which was attacking civilians in Ukraine. Once more, it doesn't look like peace. And then it doesn't look like bringing peace to Ukraine. Ukraine asks about what kind of points during negotiations we will have. But Russia doesn't present anything. Tomorrow, Ukrainian delegation will come to Istanbul without any idea what they need to negotiate about. And if you want to negotiate any ceasefire or any peace in such a large-scale war, you need to prepare at least. But there is no information. So which language of peace are we talking about? I think that is very clear. So if you just see on how Russia behaves, what is done, and what was first, there is an answer, alas. For us in Ukraine here, we would love to have peace finally, because it's really difficult not to sleep for, I think, for over a year. Like every day, there are air raid alerts at night in Kyiv, in the center, in the capital of Ukraine. You can't sleep because you either need to follow up what the news and where Russian drones or missiles are going, or so that's the main thing I would say. So if you follow what is going on, and if you follow how Russia behaves, actually Donald Trump, the president of the US, finally said he doesn't know what had happened to Vladimir Putin with his attacks on Ukrainian civilians. I think that is clear. So you don't need to look for an answer, alas.
Absolutely. So it remains to be seen how this drone attack by Ukraine on Russia really affects the talks tomorrow in Istanbul. Thank you, Ola and Dr. Sergey, for speaking to Republic TV. Now, keeping our focus on Russia, today Russia's western Bryansk region faced a tragedy earlier this morning, which occurred from a passenger train being derailed after colliding with a collapsed bridge. What we're learning so far is that 7 people have lost their life and 69 others have been injured. Here's a quick report.
A passenger train collided into a collapsed bridge in Russia's western Bryansk region on Sunday. Based on reports, at least 7 people have died and 69 individuals have been injured, out of which 3 are children and 1 is in a serious condition. 44 people have been hospitalized. The train was going from the town of Klimovo to Moscow. The collision with the bridge occurred in Vyagony-Chisky district's Federal Highway area. The aftermath of the incident displays the intensity of the collapse. The Moscow Railway branch of the Russian Railways has stated that the collapse may have occurred due to illegal interference with the transport operations. 180 personnel are involved in operations to rescue the victims. The search continued throughout the night.
Shifting our focus to the state of West Bengal, Home Minister Amit Shah today addressed a massive rally in West Bengal ahead of the 2026 assembly elections. He said that BJP will come to power in Bengal with a massive mandate. He also launched a blistering attack on TMC, claiming that Mamata Banerjee and her party are involved in appeasement politics, whereas Hindus are being targeted in the state under Chief Minister's watch. Listen in.
हर क्षेत्र में सालों तक बंगाल ने भारत का नेतृत्व करा और वही बंगाल में कई सालों तक कम्युनिस्टों का शासन रहा और उसके बाद मां माटी मानुष का नारा देकर ममता दीदी आई और उन्होंने ये महान बंग भूमि को आज घुसपैठ, भ्रष्टाचार, स्त्रियों पर अत्याचार, अपराध, बम धमाके और हिंदुओं के साथ दुराचार का केंद्र बनाकर रख दिया है, दुराचार का केंद्र बना।